Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. It's so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Greetings and salutations on this Tuesday morning here in Memphis. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. Time for Sports 56 Middays, the Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 edition, to be exact. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The early bird pool sale continues. You get it now, you reserve your installation spot, and you beat the summer price increases. When you're at Family Leisure, make sure you ask for an official Sports 56 mask while supplies last, and wear your mask. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by Action247.com. On the show today, we'll talk Grizzlies after another victory. They beat the Phoenix Suns yesterday, and that was a Suns team that had all their studs. The Grizzlies did have John Morant back, but no Jonas Valanciunas, and Jaren Jackson Jr., Justice Winslow remain out. And all of a sudden, the Grizzlies now over 500. They've won 5 straight, and a great day, even though, unfortunately, the fans weren't able to be there. The symposium and the Legacy Awards done virtually, but still, nonetheless, a great day on that Martin Luther King Jr. holiday yesterday. Also today on the program, we'll get more in depth on what happened at the University of Tennessee yesterday with the firing of their head coach and the resignation of their athletics director. Yes, if you missed it, Jeremy Pruitt fired as the Tennessee football coach, and Philip Fulmer has stepped down, whether he was forced to step down or did it on his own accord. He's retired, basically, again. We will discuss that. Connor O'Gara will join us at 10:25, senior national columnist for SaturdayDownSouth.com and Saturday Tradition. We'll talk Memphis basketball with Dr. Adam Walker, University of Memphis Executive Associate AD of Development. He deals a lot with men's basketball, and he will join us. Of course, we had the news yesterday that starting Thursday, fans will be allowed back at games at FedEx Forum. A minimal amount of fans, certainly still doing the social distancing and all that jazz, but at least there will be some fans for the Tigers game against Wichita State. But what are the answers? Are there simple answers out there to fix what ails the Memphis Tigers men's basketball team, who right now stand at 6-5, 2-2 in the conference? Got college hoop news, college football news, more from the NBA. We'll have Humdinger's Trivia at 11. We got 2.5 questions on the docket today as well, plus 5 favorite songs will come your way at 12:05. Today we're talking about songs with the word change in the title. You can text in. If you want to do it now, you certainly can. First Bank text line, 67129, 24/7 available to you. And if you're watching us live, you can message us at Sports56 WHBQ with your lists on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Also today, I want to talk a little bit about the Tiger Woods 2-part documentary, which wrapped up on HBO Max yesterday. Mr. Savoy, you got the popcorn out. It's either National Popcorn Day or you're ready for some fireworks somewhere, some shows going on. What's happening, man?
Not much. Yes, it is National Popcorn Day. So get your popcorn ready.
I have popcorn a couple times a week, even without going to the movie theater, which I loved going to the movie theater. Basically for the buttered popcorn. There's nothing like I remember when Rob Fisher told me he would actually go to the theater and somehow talk his way in to go over and buy the popcorn and get the popcorn and bring it home. I love the buttered, and I know it's bad, that butter that they use on the popcorn at the movie theaters. I know it's bad. I understand that, but I love it. It is I don't know, it's something that I have to have if I go to the movie theater. But we haven't been going to the movie theater because of COVID-19. So at home, I will pop the old popcorn that I buy at the store. Sometimes I'll get the bag of cheese popcorn. I just love popcorn. And yet it gives me such bad indigestion, and you get the kernels in your teeth. It's really not good for you either. But popcorn, buttered popcorn, whatever the case is, I love popcorn. So happy National Popcorn Day.
Do you do microwave popcorn, or are you doing, like, you still going old style?
No, I do the microwave popcorn.
Okay. Yep, I go through a decent amount of microwave popcorn at home. A little Orville Redenbacher, or maybe a little Jiffy Pop.
It's an art, though. It's an art. You keep it in the microwave a little too long, you burn it. That's happened. But I'm pretty good. I'm right there. I'm listening for the kernels
Yeah,
when they slow down
it's
popping.
really not that hard. Let's be. I mean, I know that you can't boil water, so that's probably a bit of a challenge for you. But it's really not that hard. You just kind of listen for it to quit popping.
And generally speaking, isn't there like a time amount on the
Yes,
on the
Yeah,
package?
but that's not always right because microwaves are different. They're all different. No microwave's the same. And you could put a time in there. Like, for example, there's soup I'll get, and it says warm up 2:30 to 3, 2.5 minutes to 3. And then at like a minute and a half, it starts like spewing inside the microwave. It's like the vegetables are hitting the top of the microwave. I have to shut it off and then clean the microwave, and it's only been in for a minute and a half. So popcorn can be the same way. But you don't wait until the last kernel is popped because you're going to burn it. It's when it just about like one and then maybe 5 seconds later another, that's it. Shut it off because you're going to burn the popcorn. But anyway, I wonder if people had some popcorn yesterday, as a lot of people had the day off for the holiday and watched the Memphis Grizzlies. And there were two different ways to watch. Of course, the conventional, which we love, was the local broadcast. And Michael Wallace did a nice job filling in for Brevin Knight. Rob Fisher the other day filled in for Brevin Knight as well, teaming with Pete Pranican. An outstanding job. Or you could have watched it on TNT. And I watched the local, but I know that I saw the clip of Kenny Smith receiving the Legacy Award. And that was kind of cool because he was one of the 3 honored, and he's on the award-winning TNT pregame show, halftime, postgame show with Shaq and Charles Barkley and Ernie. And he was just taken back by that award. It meant so much to him, and it means so much to all the award winners. So the sad part about yesterday was, again, we couldn't have the live Legacy Award Symposium where we go. I know you do. I do as well. We listen to these great speakers and the great conversation. That was on virtual, as everything else is. And then the game itself, again, no fans. But the Grizzlies found another way to win a basketball game. Amazing. 5 straight wins. They take the Suns 108-104. And as I said earlier, that was the Suns team that had Devin Booker, had Chris Paul, had DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, I said yesterday that the Grizzlies, it's kind of just they find ways to win, and in a lot of ways they had no business winning that game yesterday, but they just do. It's they had nobody that could really guard DeAndre Ayton without Valanciunas. Just size-wise, there wasn't much they could do. Mm-hmm. But Devin Booker has a terrible shooting game, goes 5 of 21.
And misses the dunk.
Misses the dunk towards the end there. The Suns miss a bunch of free throws. And lo and behold, then the Grizzlies make a few plays. Ja Morant makes a couple of plays. And at the end, they've got to win. It's really amazing. They just continue to find ways to win games, and a lot of it, as I said yesterday, there's different people like every night that somebody will step up. And yesterday, Grayson Allen making shots because Dylan Brooks was awful trying to shoot the basketball, couldn't make a shot, so they go Grayson Allen. And Grayson Allen makes some big threes. Desmond Bane makes a huge three towards the end of that game. Tyus Jones played well. John Conchar comes in and contributes. It's just Xavier Tillman making his first start. They have different guys doing it. They play hard constantly, and they just find a way. Like you could watch a game and go, I'm not sure what just happened, but the Grizzlies did find a way to win the game.
Here's when the plus-minus numbers that everybody looks at is deceiving and misleading. Ja Morant, a team worst, minus 11. Second worst out of any player that played yesterday. Yet down the stretch, how many big plays did Ja Morant make to help that team win? You mentioned Dylan Brooks. 1 of 10 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3. He's a non-factor. In fact, he's hurting you. Jonas Valanciunas is not playing in that game. And again, the Suns have their big 3. And you find a way to win, it's balanced scoring. Everybody that played in this game, this is amazing. Everybody that played in this game, there are 10 players that played, scored at least a point, had at least 1 rebound, and had at least 1 assist. I said it yesterday. Taylor Jenkins is a top 10 coach in the NBA. His staff and himself do an unbelievable job in finding what works, plugging in players. The players know their role. They love each other. The chemistry is incredible. This is amazing. And when those guys come back, we know Jaren Jackson Jr. is a part of the future. Who knows about Justice Winslow? But let's say he is. Then you really got to start contemplating what you're going to do because they're so deep and who's not going to play. DeAnthony Melton didn't play yesterday. You mentioned Grayson Allen was big. So they have interchangeable parts. Incredible.
Yeah, and one of the I like what Jenkins did yesterday with Dylan Brooks. That when he couldn't make a shot, he just in that fourth quarter he took a three there in the fourth and missed it again, and it wasn't even close. It was a bad shot, and he just pulled him out of the game and didn't put him back in. Like just because you're the starter, like at the 2-guard position. And Dylan is an important part of this team. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to have a night where you can't make shots, and we know Dylan ain't going to quit taking shots, he'll just sit you down, and he'll go with somebody else who can actually make a shot. And at that point, there was no reason that Dylan Brooks should be on the floor over Grayson Allen.
Yeah, I love that a coach doesn't feel obligated to play a guy who's a starter and a key cog in your lineup because he's struggling. They know he's struggling, so they make a change. That's what good coaching staffs do, and you can't take it personally. Dylan Brooks knows he had a bad game, but Dylan Brooks has had a lot of really good games, and he's extremely important. So, and Xavier Tillman gets his first start. So here's a second-round pick, just like Dylan Brooks, who's an integral part of the present of this team, the present day, and the future of this Grizzlies team. And while his numbers aren't earth-shattering, he still puts up 12 points. He gets you 6 rebounds. He battles a much bigger DeAndre Ayton. Gosh, I'm just amazed.
Yeah, it was. I felt bad for him because some of those just rebounds and things it's just a matter of Ayton just way bigger.
Right.
Xavier Tillman has no chance. Ayton's that much bigger than him, and it's amazing to me that the Suns did not find a way to exploit the matchup of Ayton basically against anybody that was in the game. When Gorgie's in there, at least he's kind of big enough to handle him. But when Jang wasn't on the floor, how the Suns didn't just go to Ayton basically on every trip, I don't know.
Right. And now the Grizzlies, and it's extremely early. We're 13 games into a 72-game season. Yet they're tied for 7th with the Golden State Warriors, who pulled one out last night over the Los Angeles Lakers. And nobody would have thought that. But remember, before the season tipped on the show, I said, I learned my lesson last year not to doubt this team, so I'm not going to doubt them. I think they can be competitive and be in the mix, certainly for at least the play-in. And that's where they are right now. I think they have played incredibly hard in every single game, win or lose, with the exception of the one Cleveland game at home. But they made up for it by going to Cleveland and winning that game. And now they hit the road for 2. Game on Wednesday and a game on Friday at the Moda Center in Portland. But here's where it gets really interesting. Portland's already without Jurkic, and now they're without C.J. McCollum. And they are 2 key pieces to this Portland puzzle. So you have Damian Lillard, who will still score his points. But remember in the bubble, Carmelo Anthony sitting in the corner and getting those open threes. Guard Carmelo. Lillard will get some. I don't know if Lillard can carry that team just by himself. He's done it, but if you crack down on everybody else, the Grizzlies have a chance to win some more games and keep this winning streak going in Portland. And there's no apologies that Portland's shorthanded because the Grizzlies have been shorthanded all season long. And they just beat a team that wasn't shorthanded. So whether it's Joel Embiid's not playing for one particular game or they missed out on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, so be it. And then after the games against Portland, you have a Sunday, Monday back-to-back at home against Sacramento. Again, a very talented team, but a lot of pieces that aren't really jointly put together. So this streak can continue for the Grizzlies.
I'm interested with the back-to-back with Sacramento coming up because De'Aaron Fox was the guy last year that Ja just had all kinds of issues with. He was the one that this Ja couldn't quite, figure out.
He was Josh Kryptonite?
And so now getting a cut, new season, Ja certainly obviously has matured a little bit. Now we'll see what, that matchup with De'Aaron Fox a couple of times, with what it looks like with Ja this year.
Well, they also have Halliburton, and that was the guy I was looking at in the draft. I said, this dude's going to be good, and he's been good so far for Sacramento. But Sacramento has, again, a lot of guys that are talented. It just hasn't come together for them. And if it doesn't this year, then Luke Walton will be looking for a new job.
Raider Corey texted in on the First Bank text line. You can do so as well. 67129. 67129 is the First Bank text line. The First Bank phone line, 360-8255. So I just want to commend the Grizzlies front office. I must admit that when I heard of the hiring of these men, I was skeptical because of the lack of basketball operations experience. But, man, they know what they are doing. Taylor Jenkins is a damn good coach. There will be a good depth problem when everyone is healthy. Buckle up. This is going to be a fun ride. Listen,
it's
the front office is, the way this has been run the last couple of years is night and day different from the previous regime.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the draft picks and the contributions they're getting from draft picks. You look at some of the moves they have made in order to, clear up cap space, then use that cap space to get more draft picks and other things. Like there have been some very shrewd moves by this front office, but the biggest thing, and the Ja Morant one fell in their lap. They got lucky in the draft lottery. They got the number 2 in the draft. There was no real other option other than Ja, so that one kind of fell in their lap. But Brandon Clark to move up to get him this year with Bane and Tillman to get 2 guys in the second round or late first, early second who are able to contribute as rookies right away. They've already drafted more contributors than the previous regime did in about a 10-year stretch.
There's also less cooks in the kitchen. It's pretty clear what everyone's role is. And Robert Parra has given the keys to this beautiful condominium to Zach Kleiman. And Zach Kleiman leans on Tayshaun Prince. And Jason Wexler, he's running the whole business. He's running the whole show. There's not 30 other people that are jumping in. There's obviously other people that do their jobs, but under the leadership of those guys. And it's plain and simple what they're doing. But as Corey pointed out, not a lot of experience for Kleiman as he takes over a couple years ago. And Tayshaun Prince was still transitioning from being a player to being a front office guy. And it's worked. Like you said, the moves that they have made, their evaluation with their scouts of talent has been A+. A+. When you're hitting on second-round picks, you're doing something right. So hats off to what they're doing. Keep doing what they're doing. We'll see what happens with the Winslow trade. But all these other moves that they have made, strong. And you're right. Anybody could have made the Ja Morant pick. But still, to go out there and get Brandon Clark, to move up to get Desmond Bane at the end of the first round this year, to go with Xavier Tillman. Bobby Marks, let me see if I can find the quote from Bobby Marks yesterday, who's on ESPN, about how well the Grizzlies have done in the draft. Here it is. The Memphis Grizzlies get an A+ for the previous 2 drafts. Ja Morant, Brandon Clark, Desmond Bane, Xavier Tillman. Just a reminder that it is okay to select a player that went to college for 3+ years.
The thing with the Ja Morant, again, yes, it was luck to get number 2 in that lottery, but that's when you are a franchise like the Grizzlies, like in order to kind of change your fortunes, you need a bit of luck. Like that's kind of it. Like you're not going to go out and sign big time free agents, stuff like that. So you need to get lucky a time or two in the draft lottery, and that's what can change a franchise like this around. But then you still, even with that, have to be good in your other drafting and your other moves that you make because of the situation you're in. And this front office, through a couple of years, has been fantastic in every one of those fields.
And I love what Ja Morant said yesterday via Twitter, on social media after the game. talking about people who wanted them to tank, which was not us. But I can understand the sentiment that if the Grizzlies, who are probably not going to go far, end up high in the draft lottery, then you may get another really, really good player to help for the future. But John Morant said, look, we're in this to win it. We're trying to win every game, and that's the way it should be. And I think 99.9% of the players are in it for that as well. Front offices may be a little different, but not the Grizzlies. They haven't been in that situation where they're thinking tank. Now, in the past, there's been a couple of things that you question, but this regime, they're out there to try to win as many games as they can. And if they could be in the playoff picture, they're in the playoff picture. If they're not, then they'll be a high pick in the lottery and maybe get lucky with the ping pong balls. But the thing is that they're playing great basketball right now. Will it continue? Let's hope so. And again, they're going to eventually get Jaren Jackson Jr. back. I think they're going to get Justice Winslow, and we'll see how that chemistry works putting these guys together. One other basketball note from the NBA. Nets played again last night, second game with James Harden. They nipped the Bucks in a good game, 125-123. So they're 2-0 with Harden. Harden had 34, 12 assists, 8 rebounds, and Kevin Durant went for 30. So it's working with those two guys as they've rekindled their relationship. Kyrie Irving, again, missed the game, but he's going to be back soon. I cannot wait, as I said yesterday, to see how that chemistry, if it works, happens. Because we've talked about it ad nauseum. There's only one basketball. But right now, the Harden-Kevin Durant relationship seems to be clicking.
Kevin Durant has been unreal this year. He's shooting 48% from three-point range.
Is that good?
And making nearly 3 a game. He's attempting just under 6 a game, shooting 48%. 54% overall from the field. 30 points, 7 rebounds, just under 6 assists, over 1 block per game. I mean, he is the injury, the coming back from the injury, not an issue for Kevin Durant. He has been unbelievable.
Later on in the show, we got news on where T.J. Carter, the former Tiger, is headed. Talk a little bit about the Tiger Woods documentary on HBO Max. We'll look ahead to the NFL championship round this Sunday with the NFC-AFC championship games. We have Dr. Adam Walker from the University of Memphis joining us as well. But when we return, it's all about college football and what is going on at Tennessee. A lot more news has come out since we had the first initial news on the program yesterday. We'll talk with Connor O'Gara. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 98.5.
You have opinions?
I think they got a lot of athletic ability.
We want to hear them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Call us on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 67129.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
When you visit Navy Liquor at 7866 Highway 51 in Millington, you'll be treated like family by friendly, knowledgeable staff. Select are your favorite bourbon, vodka, scotch, beer, tequila, gin, and rum, as well as wines from all over the world. An amazing selection of sakis, too. Coldest beer in town. Beer kegs are available. Any beer, any wine, any liquor. You got the Navy Liquor hookup. Come see us, holiday or any other occasion. Navy Liquor, corner of Highway 51 and Navy Road in Millington.
Last year was a brutal wake-up call. It proved why you should always prepare, far in advance, for any emergency life throws at you. This year, the smartest move is to stockpile long-lasting emergency food. Food that lasts up to 25 years in storage, ready to eat the moment you need it. Listen, failure to plan means planning for failure. Why wait for another crisis when you can easily and affordably have a 3-month, 6-month, even 1-year supply of food on hand? We're My Patriot Supply, the nation's leader in emergency preparedness. We've served millions of customers for over a decade with tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. Our mission is your survival. So try our foods. They're delicious and provide 2,000 calories a day. Plus, our food kits will arrive discreetly at your doorstep in as little as 2 days. Visit MyPatriotSupply.com and feast your eyes on the food that could save your life someday. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now, luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7, visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
All I need is a TV show, fire in the radio.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:28 the time. We're going to talk college football and the Tennessee situation with Connor O'Gara in just a moment. It's official via social media. TJ Carter yesterday announcing that he will transfer for one more season of college football to TCU. So you got TJ Carter going to TCU and Obina Eze going to TCU. Gabe, is there a connection?
You would think. I don't know what that connection is, but there's clearly something going on there.
We wish TJ Carter the best of luck, along with Obina Eze at TCU. All right, before we bring on Connor, and by the way, Connor gracious enough that he's going to join us throughout the year. So every Tuesday, we got college football talk with Connor. Some days will be busier than others, but today is really busy. So the latest with UT football, the presser that took place yesterday at 2 o'clock Central Time. UT Chancellor Plowman saying, quote, the conduct by at least 2 assistant coaches and several recruiting staff members are likely to lead to an NCAA finding of a level 1 and or level 2 violations of one or more governing athletic rules. So Jeremy Pruitt was fired, but again, he was not, I guess, directly involved with that. Assistants Brian Niedermeyer and Shelton Felton. Is that really his name, Shelton Felton? And 4 members of the on-campus football recruiting staff, along with the director and assistant director of football player personnel and a football analyst quality control coach, all fired. Then Jeremy Pruitt's attorney comes out on social media and says, I look forward to defending any allegation that he has engaged in any NCAA wrongdoing, as well as examining the university's intent to disparage and destroy Coach Pruitt's reputation in an effort to avoid paying his contractual liquidated damages. So we got a fight maybe in the courts on hand as well. It is a messy situation at Tennessee, and we're going to talk about it with Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, here's Connor with Greg and Eli.
He is the senior national columnist for SaturdayDownSouth.com. Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. He's Connor O'Gara, who joins us every Tuesday. You thought a couple days ago this would be a breeze little interview on Tuesday, but my gosh, are you kidding me? How are you, man?
You know, guys, I'm good, but, I think this is just a little reminder that once we think things are settling in the SEC, they never really do. I mean, we might get a week here or there where it's kind of quiet, and that's usually the sign that something is about to blow up. And sure enough, Tennessee did as Tennessee does, and couldn't just have a typical head coach firing. And Tennessee had to make it really messy and a disaster. And now we're going to have an ongoing storyline for several months, I think, with this. This isn't going away, especially with Pruitt's lawsuit. So, yeah, I mean, just kind of like a casual Monday day in the SEC.
First of all, we all kind of knew that this investigation was seemingly, it looked as if they were basically trying to find a way to do just what they did, and that's fire him with cause. Certainly he's going to fight that because nobody just walks away quietly from $12 million. We'll see where they end up settling all this. Were you surprised at all that Fulmer ends up going out as well?
No, that didn't surprise me, but that's kind of the lost in the shuffle thing. It didn't surprise me because when these things happen, you have to remember the dynamics at play here. You have to remember that it was last month. I repeat, it was last month that Philip Fulmer, a.k.a. the guy who hired Jeremy Pruitt, a.k.a. the guy who gave Jeremy Pruitt that ridiculous extension in September, Philip Fulmer came out and said, everybody needs to have patience because Jeremy Pruitt's start resembles the start of none other than Johnny Majors. That was last month. Did I say that was last month? Because that's an extraordinary thing to think about. And when you hear that as a Tennessee fan, you think to yourself, oh, man, the guy that needs to make the firing isn't going to actually make the firing. And that kind of, in my opinion, was at the root of why this got so messy, because Tennessee didn't really have the faith in Philip Fulmer to look at Jeremy Pruitt and say, we need to go in a different direction. And if you're thinking about a program that just got finished paying Butch Jones a buyout in the neighborhood of $9 million, they're like, hey, if we can find a way out of this, why not do it? And that's what this whole thing has reeked of. Now, we're going to find out more as to what these level 1 violations are. In your neck of the woods, I'm sure they're pretty familiar with that term, level 1 violation, after what happened at Ole Miss. There were 15 level 1 violations that ultimately resulted in probation, which just finished November 30th of 2020 for Ole Miss. It resulted in a loss of scholarships. There was the multi-year bowl ban, one of which was self-imposed. But in other words, level 1 violations can be bad. They can be really bad. And if it's as bad as what we're kind of led to believe, then that's not a good sign for the future of Tennessee. While they might have been able to avoid this buyout, they might also now be looking at a situation in 2021 where, in this era of the transfer portal, this is going to get even more awful for this program. And I think in this league, the climb is going to be really uphill. So there are so many different layers to what's going on at Tennessee, and I don't really think that we're privy to all of those layers, to be 100% honest with you. But, it just kind of goes to show you that these buyouts can lead to some extraordinary measures being taken, and it looks like Tennessee did just that.
I likened the Phil Fulmer deal yesterday to step down, whether he was forced to or did it on his own accord and retire again. I kind of likened it to a captain going down with the ship. He made his bed. He knows he made his bed. They gave him the extension. He got an extension. We had Phil on the show several times, one time before the extension, one time after the extension, and he couldn't talk any rosier about Jeremy Pruitt. He felt that he was the right guy for the job, and obviously it went south in a hurry. And then yesterday at the press conference, a couple of things you just scratch your head. First of all, his response about recruiting. Recruiting's going well. Other than all the violations and everything, recruiting's going fantastic. And then the other thing, which nobody believes, that Kevin Steele, that they didn't already know this was coming down the pike when they hired Kevin Steele.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, the recruiting thing. Oh, yeah, recruiting's great. By the way, we're currently doing an internal investigation with level 1 violations. We just fired a head coach. Thanks, Phil. That was the first question I was going to ask is, hey, how's recruiting going? He's pretty pertinent right about now. Yeah, the Kevin Steele thing, that just reeked of Tennessee trying to find some way to put a Band-Aid on this thing. And that's what I think they're going to do with this hiring, because what head coach is going to sign up for a job in which you, A, just did whatever you could to get out of this buyout, which is a major part of why these college jobs have become more and more attractive, especially in the TV rights era, with now 33 coaches having buyouts in the 8-figure range. Jeremy Pruitt was one of them. So why would I want to sign up for a job that has this NCAA cloud looming that's going to impact your performance in 2021 and your ability to recruit? It's going to impact so many different things that you do. Why would I sign up for a job like that? And then, Tennessee, I don't know if they're really going to be in position to go out and make a big splashy hire. It might just be, hey, Kevin Steele, do the Matt Luke thing for 2-3 years maybe. If you hit, great. If not, no real big cost to us. But let's see if we can kind of make this thing work for a little bit, get us back on our feet, kind of hold this thing together, and then move forward from after and see what ultimately comes about in the next 2 years. But it's strange because it kind of feels like they had some very obvious short-term goals with this, which was to rid of the Jeremy Pruitt buyout and contract, but also there could be some long-term play here with trying to figure out the best possible way to navigate this moving forward, even if there is a bit of this self-sabotage because of the internal investigation.
You said, I mean, it's going to be hard now. And they say they're going to hire the AD before they hire a coach. So you're looking at quite some time. So it would appear as though Kevin Steele, at least for this coming season, would be the head coach, you would think, on an interim basis. With the press conference yesterday and all the talk of integrity and you got to win the right way, it would seem as though it would be hard to hire Hugh Freeze coming out of that. But if you wait another year and he's another year separate and he keeps himself clean at Liberty, you're kind of a year away from the press conference of talking about integrity and all that stuff. Could you then hire Hugh Freeze?
I think that would make more sense. We know that Greg Sankey has had this unofficial ban on Hugh Freeze, but all signs indicated that ban was not going to exist during the 2020 coaching cycle. So that's why he was an obvious name for the South Carolina job, for the Auburn job. Now, it didn't work out, and we're still trying to figure out why exactly there wasn't a fit there. But if it was related to Tennessee, and if Hugh Freeze were to look at this job and say, hey, you know what, it's kind of, in a weird way, it'd be like picking up where I left off at Ole Miss. And now transferring that to Tennessee, we're dealing with potential NCAA penalties upcoming. I think that would be something that would make a little bit more sense to wait a year, because think about this. Hugh Freeze isn't going anywhere if he's not going to Tennessee right just now. I mean, they have survived that sort of fear. If you're a Tennessee fan, you would hope that in a year's time, you're going to have the best possible chance to hire somebody like Hugh Freeze compared to the other openings. It's not like he's going necessarily to a job, in the next cycle that's going to be that much more attractive than Tennessee, unless we hear that Tennessee is dealing with major NCAA sanctions and there's like a 2 or 3 year bowl ban or something like that where the program's just gutted. But I would feel pretty confident if I'm Tennessee that I'd be able to wait a year, like you said, and still have a very good chance at hiring somebody like Hugh Freeze, who is reportedly very interested in returning to a state that he spent a lot of time in. He was a high school coach there, and I think that would make a lot of sense. But obviously, the optics would probably be better suited next year than right now.
But how about if Kevin Steele does a good job? How about if and we don't? Are we sure who? Are we really sure who hired Kevin Steele 2 weeks ago or a week ago? Whenever he was hired, was it Fulmer? Was it somebody else higher than him? And how about if Steele does a pretty good job with all the obstacles, then you just can him anyway?
Yeah.
Well, he's an interim coach, so you're always going to keep the title. So you then have a coaching search that includes Kevin Steele, but you just hire somebody over him.
But what I'm saying is, if you go out, and I would love Hugh Freeze for the job, but if you go out after 1 year and Kevin Steele does a pretty good job as the head coach, and he's in the mix, and you don't hire him, you're going to lose him now as a DC. You're going to lose. He's not going to be on that staff. I can't imagine he would stay on that staff. Now, he could, but I would doubt he would. He would go back from being a candidate for the head coaching job and now being, again, demoted again. I'm just saying that if Hugh Freeze is your guy, go for him now. And now if Greg Sankey steps in, and I don't know, we were talking about this yesterday on the show. Sankey would he step in or not? Well, he didn't step in for Bruce Pearl at Auburn. So what's the difference? I mean, Hugh Freeze has paid his penance, and he's doing a great job at Liberty. So if that's your guy, why not go for him now? I think it could cause a problem if Steele does a pretty good job. Then you're maybe stuck in the middle.
I always thought the difference between Bruce Pearl and the Hugh Freeze situation, Hugh Freeze could have theoretically come back to the SEC while Ole Miss was still facing a bowl ban, and Hugh Freeze could have been a contributor. Let's say had he taken the Alabama offensive coordinator job, he could have been a contributor helping another team reach bowl eligibility while the team that he put on probation with a bowl ban was on the opposing sideline. The optics of that would have been terrible, whereas Bruce Pearl coming back to Auburn, what was that? I mean, like 4 years after, the Tennessee fallout. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong there, but, I thought the optics of that were a little bit different. But if he's your guy right now and you're able to go out and get him, that's different. If you have the approval of Greg Sankey and there's nothing necessarily in your way because you know that Tennessee fans will get on board with anything, especially if it kind of covers up this mess right now, then, yeah, go out and do it. But it remains to be seen what exactly is going to be the fallout. Because if you're talking about a program with a bowl ban and all that stuff going on, that changes the sell of this job. And I don't know if we're going to find that out anytime soon. And that's kind of the thing that would make maybe even Hugh Freeze a little bit hesitant to want to just jump into a new job when he's got a pretty good situation at Liberty right now, and he doesn't necessarily need to, now that he got this raise, he doesn't necessarily need it, to jump ship, and he should feel pretty confident in the team that he has coming back, which is likely going to start in the top 25 or close to it. So, a lot of moving pieces.
But the other thing they're saying is that they're not going to hire the coach until they hire the AD.
Right. That's why you don't hire. That's what I'm saying. You can't. It's pretty clear Kevin Steele's probably going to be the head coach on an interim basis for this next season. And again, it helps in being able to have Hugh Freeze another year separated from the issues. I think in order to be if that is the way they want to go. I don't know that. I know Hugh Freeze. I've heard from many people who say that is Hugh Freeze's dream job. So I know he wants the job, but would they want him? Who knows? If it's not Hugh Freeze, Connor, who do you think could be the guy that can get Tennessee maybe back to where they used to be?
Oh, man. I mean, how long have we been trying to answer that question? Goodness.
We're not bringing back Derek Dooley. We're not bringing back Butch Jones.
1998 Phil Fulmer.
I don't think Lane's going back. Who could they go?
Peyton Manning, of course, and Jason. Of course, now if you listen to Dan Patrick, it's Jason Witten. With all that experience.
No.
I know. That's just so stupid.
No.
So stupid.
I'm not even – I wrote this, something last night about why I don't really think that Peyton Manning having a big role in this coaching search should really matter that much.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of weird because he was really on board with Shiano. He was all in with Butch Jones. So I'm not really sure that should be like an end-all, be-all, or that should make Tennessee fans feel better. Let's stop pretending like this program's getting back to where it was over 20 years ago. It's not happening. They haven't won a conference title since 1998. And their games against rivals since Nick Saban arrived at Alabama, they're 5-37. Like, this is not a program that is just one personnel decision away from getting back to competing for national championships. I mean, they have an identity crisis right now, and they haven't been relevant in the way that they've been hoping. They've been able to finish nice seasons, and they've been able to kind of win a bowl game and have off-season momentum. But, let's just see a coach who can come in and consistently win 8-9 games. I mean, let's stop talking about them like they're going to compete with Georgia all of a sudden. They're not. They're not going to. And I think that Tennessee fans holding on to that hope, they're part of the problem. So to me, it's not necessarily about who can get Tennessee back to that level. I don't think that person exists. I don't think that there's a person who can all of a sudden flip the switch and get Tennessee back on that level. Now, I think could maybe a Jamie Chadwell, could maybe a Lance Leipold at Buffalo, could those potential coaches come in, kind of quietly do their job and not necessarily get caught up in the rah-rah Tennessee 20th century garbage that they fall in love with? Yeah, I think that those coaches would be more than capable of it. But I think we need to adjust our expectations for Tennessee and what success truly means. Because when you are hiring your fifth head coach in 12 years, and you haven't hired a head coach with Power 5 head coaching experience since Johnny Majors, I think we need to rethink what Tennessee is right now.
Well said.
By the way, in the press conference yesterday, they wasted a golden opportunity. In today's world, they should have announced yesterday that the reason they didn't play in the Liberty Bowl had nothing to do with COVID. It was actually a self-imposed one-year bowl ban, and that's why they ended up not playing in the Liberty Bowl. And the NCAA should just look the other way.
There we go. LSU did it. LSU was so gracious to be able to say, you know what, guys, well, this isn't the time to play in a bowl game. I know we're, dealing with NCAA scrutiny for how we handled some potential Title IX issues, but we're going to bow out of this one, even though our team, just won 2 games in a row, and we just want to go out on that note instead. Tennessee definitely. I mean, it already took its punishment, and you just kind of tip your cap to them for being out at the forefront and trying to really self-police all of these issues that have just, totally disrupted this program.
Love having these off-season storylines. It gives us something every week to discuss, and we're so happy that Connor's going to be with us all year long. Senior national columnist for SaturdayDownSouth.com and Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Connor, thank you, man. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
Take care. We were talking about Peyton Manning and what influence. Well, he's certainly a guy who's well-respected, but how dialed in is he with the coaching situation in college football? By the way, the agent that represented Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, Drew Brees, and several other prominent quarterbacks, that's Tom Condon. They've announced that former Alabama quarterback Mac Jones has signed with him. So nice connection there. Good agent to have, Tom Condon, for Mac Jones. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, a Memphis staple for over 30 years. Over 30 years, for goodness sakes. Voted the number one barbecue joint in Memphis 22 of those 30 years. Delectable barbecue. They fired up in that Corky's Hickory and Charcoal Pit. Man, oh man. Ribs and the barbecue beef, the barbecue pork, the chicken, the amazing sides, their world-famous onion loaf. 4 Mid-South locations. They have one on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. They also have the ultimate taste of Corky's available. You get a free rack of ribs when you place your mail order. All you have to do is put the word sidelines in the promo code. You get the ribs and the barbecued baked beans, the Corky's sauce, the dry rub seasoning, a pie for dessert, all for $99.99. Carry out, dine in, or have Corky's cater an event. Shop online, have Corky's deliver their delicious barbecue anywhere in the United States. And a Corky's gift card makes a great gift. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 98.5 FM.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The gourmet chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Looking for fine jewelry for that special occasion? Look no further than James Gaddis Jewelers. Hi, this is Jay Gaddis, and for over 60 years, my family has been here for Memphians on every occasion. Specializing in engagement, bridal, and custom design, we are here to make your dreams come true. Depend on us for birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's, or any day in need of a smile. We have an extensive selection of gemstone, diamond, and pearl jewelry, watches, and designer pieces. Shop local at Poplar near Mendenhall in the heart of East Memphis. James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We have Humdinger's Trivia coming your way at 11 o'clock. We'll talk with Dr. Adam Walker from the University of Memphis at 11:25 as we turn our attention to Memphis Tigers basketball back at home on Thursday as they will take on Wichita State. We'll get into the NFL as well.
Hopefully.
Everything's with a caveat.
Tiger basketball, we certainly have to put that in there. Couple of texts here on the First Bank text line on the Tennessee stuff. So it says, Freeze needs it for his ego. Ole Miss was his dream job also, so I guess he's going to bring his Bible to the Vols. Listen, first of all, every coach needs it for their ego. Like, they all have egos. They all want to coach at the biggest place they could coach. And quite frankly, Tennessee is a much better job than Liberty is.
Right.
Every coach pretty much would, given that opportunity, make that type of move. So Hugh Freeze is no different in the ego than anybody else in that coaching industry is, for the most part.
Yeah, and I think when they talk about dream jobs for Hugh, you're talking about jobs that are in the SEC, big-time college football, and that are within the region of where he grew up, where he made his mark. Tennessee, Ole Miss.
I've been told by multiple people who know Hugh well, who going back to his days at Briarcrest and before he was ever in college coaching, that the one job he wanted was the Tennessee head coaching job. That is his ultimate job, is to be the head coach at the University of Tennessee.
No question.
Again, whether that can happen, optic-wise, it could be bad. But if I'm Tennessee, and I think he's the guy that can do it, I wouldn't worry about all the optics of it. I'm doing it. Again, it's probably easier to do next year, and by the time, and if you're planning on hiring the AD before they hire the coach, it's going to have to be next year. But if you think Hugh Freeze is your guy, I wouldn't worry about anything else. You've gone through way too many of these coaches now. You just got to find the guy who could actually come in and finally win.
And I don't know enough about the other administrators in the athletic department to know whether or not there is somebody who could elevate to the AD, like their associate ADs, their deputy ADs. Obviously, Phil Fulmer didn't concentrate on basketball. I mean, he was above everything, but I'm sure there's somebody connected with basketball whose name I don't know off the top of my head that could be somebody. I don't know if they're going to go internally, but with everything that's happened, maybe looking outside wouldn't be a bad thing.
Somebody else says, I wonder if Hugh Freeze didn't work out, would Billy Napier be a possibility? Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that every job opening that comes up now, Billy Napier's name is pretty much tied to that. Napier, Chadwell, like they're the group of highly sought after head coaches at the lower level. So they're going to come up in every one of these job possibilities.
Billy Napier has said no to everything. And I don't know how many concrete offers he's had, but who knows what in the back of his mind is his dream job. So I don't know what that connection would be.
Napier was born in Tennessee. He was actually born in Cookeville. But I think he was raised in Georgia. Went to high school in Georgia. But obviously very familiar with this part of the country. Has been in the SEC before. So, yeah, I mean, he would be – Chadwell is a Tennessee – Chadwell's from Tennessee. Chadwell played high school football and college football in the state of Tennessee. So he's certainly familiar with the part of the country, although he hasn't coached in the SEC as much, with like what Napier has done. But yeah, I mean, that group of head coaches at the lower level that have had success are certainly going to be the ones that continue to come up in any of these head coaching searches. And Tennessee has kind of gone run the gamut of how they've gone about these hires. They went and got the head coach from the lower level with Butch Jones.
Right.
And Derek Dooley, although Derek Dooley didn't have success at the lower level. He was under 500 at Louisiana Tech.
That was the whole Vince Dooley's son.
So they've tried the head coach from the lower level, and now they've went and tried the assistant coach from the best program in the SEC.
Right.
And that didn't work out for them. So it's like they've tried a little bit of everything. I don't know what's next for Tennessee to try here. And which route they will go, and part of that may depend on who the AD is that they hire.
Real quick, what did you think of the response by the attorney for Jeremy Pruitt?
It's not surprising at all.
No, not surprising.
It's
not surprising
exactly
what he
they're
said.
say.
But do you think that there is a lot of a lot of pop in what he said? That there's certainly a chance that he can go and win this thing.
They'll end up
if it goes to court.
Neither Tennessee doesn't want to go to court. They're not. They'll end up settling on some number that we may or may not ever find out. I'm sure I would imagine there will be a settlement, and he'll get some money. He just won't get all of the money.
It's just how much has this done damage for Jeremy Pruitt and landing a future job. When we come back, hour number 2 of the program will kick things off with Humdinger's Trivia.
I hope they hand him the settlement in a McDonald's bag. That would be actually the best way to go about this.
Is that a bunch of crap? Was that a joke on the Dan Patrick Show?
No, he said that's what they were doing.
Okay, I didn't bring.
They were handing recruits money.
I know the music.
McDonald's bags.
I know the music's playing. I didn't bring it up with Connor because I wasn't sure. I hadn't heard it. I only read the quote, and I wasn't 100% sure if they were tongue in cheek. But what we're referring to, folks, if you haven't heard, is on the Dan Patrick Show, according to sources, that they were sloppy in their recruiting and they were handing Tennessee Vols recruits, I don't know if players as well maybe, or just recruits, but they were handing them money in McDonald's bags. So instead of a quarter pounder with cheese, maybe got a $250,000.
I'm loving it. That's all I know. If I'm one of those recruits, I'm loving it. I'll tell you that much.
This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
It's free furnace time. Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your air conditioning system this spring? January is one of our slowest months of the year. Our warehouse is full and our crews are slow. So to spark business during these cold winter months, Conway Services is giving away Carrier 80% gas furnaces absolutely free with the purchase of a standard Carrier air conditioning system. That's right, purchase a Carrier air conditioning system in the month of January and get a gas furnace absolutely free. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. That's up to $2,000 in savings. Plus, get your new system for as low as $139 per month or 12 months interest free. Now, you can do that. And with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage. Factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you are treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:03 is the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Middays, the Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. James Gaddis Jewelers is the second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. Look, if you're in the market for jewelry, whether it be an engagement ring or just a watch or a ring or a necklace or some antique vintage jewelry, or you need a cleaning done, or you need a resetting on a ring, whatever it is, go to James Gaddis Jewelers. They've been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for over 23 years in that same East Memphis location. James is a master jeweler, certified appraiser, diamondologist, and graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. Yes, he's a certified appraiser, so obviously you can get jewelry appraised there at James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Many of you drive by it each and every day. Stop by, say hello to James, Linda, and the gang. They will take care of you. The phone number to call if you have any questions on any particular jewelry, 901-767-9648. On the web at GaddisJewelers.com. It's James Gaddis Jewelers.
Time now for our Humdingers Trivia. We do it each and every Tuesday at this time. It's your opportunity to win a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers over at Poplar and Massey to go enjoy some great food, some healthy food, some inexpensive food. Of course, Tuesdays mean Taco Tuesdays, and that's $2 tacos all day long at Humdingers Trivia, either the chicken or fish tacos, and both are fantastic. You can't really go wrong either way. They are big tacos, too, for just $2. That is a great, great deal every Tuesday that they do over at Humdingers. If you don't want the tacos, they've got their great grilled fish options, the crispy fish and chips. You can get chicken, salads, sandwiches, great sides. It's all just fantastic stuff. You can check out the entire menu at humdingersrestaurant.com and see all the different options you have to choose from over at Humdingers. Again, head on over today for Taco Tuesday at Humdingers. All you got to do to win that $25 gift certificate is be the first correct answer. via text at 67129. That's 67129 to text in the answer. And if you are the first one to get it right, you get a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. Here is today's question. The Grizzlies yesterday playing, of course, their annual Martin Luther King Day game, taking on the Phoenix Suns. What two teams have the Grizzlies played the most on MLK Day? What two teams have the Grizzlies played the most in their annual MLK Day game? Who has been the opponent, the most common opponents, the top two for the Grizzlies in that game? Texted 67129. 67129 is the text line, and the first correct answer gets a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. What two teams have the Grizzlies played more than any for their annual MLK Day game?
The Major League Baseball schedule not out yet, but you've probably heard by now. They certainly want to play. Rob Manfred's talked about playing a full 162-game regular season schedule, have a full spring training. I guess that's the wish of everybody. That's the hope of everybody. It certainly will have its pitfalls and hiccups, but that's the goal. And so teams right now continue to make transactions to try to get their team set for the upcoming season. And yesterday, the news that the Washington Nationals signed your boy, John Lester, to a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Does he have anything left in the tank?
He's got a little bit left, yeah. And it's really like the Cubs continue to embarrass. The Cubs ownership is an embarrassment at this point of what they are doing and how they are acting. The Washington, I think, got him for like $4 million for this 1 year. Mm-hmm. He really wanted to go back to the Cubs for another year, and was willing to take less from the Cubs, and they wouldn't even. I think they offered $2 million for him, which is basically an embarrassment of an offer for that. I think that the Cubs, this act they're putting on about how broke they are is just absolutely an embarrassment.
Oh, so that's what they're doing. They're pretending they're broke. I thought maybe they were just trying to get really young.
Well, they are, so that they don't have to spend any money.
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean they're getting rid of salary and bringing in a bunch of young guys who are minor leaguers. Like they're basically tanking to get rid of salary because of these biblical losses from the pandemic that Tom Ricketts talks about. It is an embarrassment what he is doing right now, and acting as if the Cubs are some poor franchise that just can't possibly survive the pandemic.
In the meantime, there are the teams that continue to spend. The New York Yankees went out and took a flyer on Corey Kluber. It's going to cost them. It's not cheap, but Corey Kluber certainly a guy who has been one of the better pitchers in the last 10 years in Major League Baseball. So the Yankees add the veteran Corey Kluber. Also, yesterday, news that had nothing to do with player transactions, but it did have to do with a general manager transaction because Jarrett Porter is out as the New York Mets GM after ESPN reported that he sent explicit, unsolicited texts and images to a female reporter in 2016 while working for your Cubs in their front office. Owner Steve Cohen tweeted Tuesday that the Mets have terminated Porter this morning, less than 12 hours after Mina Kimes and Jeff Passan reported that Porter sent graphic, uninvited text messages and images to the reporter. Real ugly story, real nasty.
Yeah, this dude, he got some problems. He's got some real issues. 62 unanswered texts before the final day barrage of 17 more that included the penis pic, for lack of a better term.
When do you take the hint? At text number 2 not being answered? Maybe 3?
Well,
maybe at the most 3?
I would like to think it's before 6. Well, technically it ends up being, I think, 79 total.
Right. It's before the penis pic.
Before
I know
she
that.
finally said, like, this is, like, leave me alone. Quit this. Like, clearly not responding isn't working, so you need to quit doing this.
Does any woman fall for that? I mean, unless it's a couple and they're married, even though I think that's crazy to do something because it ends up coming back to haunt you. But This is a guy trying to pick up this woman, and he thinks that that's going to win her over?
I don't think when text number 75 or whatever is that. I don't think she's just been waiting for that. You're like, you know what? I've tried everything else. I have texted her a million different things. There are pictures, all kinds of pictures, everything else.
Did he put it next to a teddy bear or a flower?
She hasn't responded yet. Maybe she's just been waiting for this one. Maybe this was the key. I don't know why I didn't think of this back at text number 30, but here I go.
Was it resting against a box of candy? Come on now.
It is. I just like. You got to be one creepy dude.
You're sick.
Like here's my. I don't even know what he's going to say. Like I have a feeling there's going to be something about a drinking problem or something like that.
Oh, how about the sex problem? He has a sex problem like Tiger, which I'm going to get to in a second about the documentary. Maybe that's it.
And he very well could go that route, but I have a feeling there will be something about drinking and he was drunk and he just did
drinking and texting,
which I would assume, I would hope, in a lot of ways for his sake. That that last day, that he was just like drunk out of his mind. But
here's
62 unanswered texts, and then after 62 you get to a day and you finally like, all right, this is it. This is the day at work. This is the day, and you go with 17 texts in one day, including that picture.
It's like the end of the fireworks. You know, at the end there's going to be the barrage with the fireworks. That's exactly what he did.
I do not like that comparison at all. I hate that comparison.
What do you mean?
Oh my God! Comparing them to fireworks. I like watching fireworks.
No. I'm saying
I don't think this woman like this.
There's always the last second barrage.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He came with the grand finale, baby. He said, "All right, I've been just throwing them one out there a little bit at a time, but here we go. Here's your grand finale, baby. It just come fast and furious. Unbelievable."
I have to say, based on how obsessive and weird this guy is, what are the chances this is the only woman he did this to?
No chance.
That's what I'm trying to say. I mean,
okay.
I wonder if other women will step forward with information.
So here's my deal. He was hired a month ago by well-respected front office guy in baseball, Sandy Alderson, who's been at it for a long time. You got to think the Mets, especially with the new ownership in Cohen, that they're doing all the vetting on all their employees. So there's nothing with this guy. And remember, ESPN was sitting on this story, right, Eli? They were waiting for her to to go on the record.
They had gotten these texts and stuff. They've known about these for a couple of years, but she was afraid. She didn't want the story coming out because she thought it would hurt her career. She was a foreign reporter covering Major League Baseball. She didn't even speak English very well. This was a foreign reporter in this country who this guy is just being a complete creep to. But she was afraid that if something came out, she really feared because what are they like in her home country? They don't say where she's from or who she is or anything like that because she doesn't want that. But in her home country, she was afraid of real backlash because over there, it doesn't matter. Like if women are in any sort of sexual thing, it's their fault and everything else. So she feared repercussions with her job trying to cover Major League Baseball. She feared stuff back in her home country. So she was like, no, I don't want this to come out. Now she has gotten out of Major League Baseball and out of sports reporting, and she felt like she could at least have the story out there, still an anonymous thing without knowing who she is, but she wasn't so worried about having to work in Major League Baseball and try and do that anymore. So she said, I don't want this to happen to other women. And she, like you said, I would be shocked if this is the only woman that this guy's ever done this to. That would be amazing if this was the one for a guy that is that creepy.
No, he sounds like a sicko, and he probably will use the defense of there was a language barrier. I mean, I'm texting, and she can't read English. I don't know what, but it sounds like there's an excuse ready to happen.
Well, but she responded to some early texts, which she thought was just innocent stuff.
So what did she say?
She was just she thought of him this was a relationship. She thought they were at first she thought
friends
talking about it to talk baseball. She's a Major League Baseball reporter.
I know. The problem.
Then there was some stuff, and she said she didn't understand. And she probably didn't understand the creepiness of American men. And so some of the stuff she probably misunderstood. And then all of a sudden, when it started being these pictures and more risque stuff. That's when she said she just quit responding, and then eventually, again, 79 text messages later, he sends her the full-blown picture of his junk, and at that point, she's just like, "Dude, you need to quit doing this. Like, leave me alone, man. You are this is creepy."
It has been a problem that's existed since the first female reporters. It's absolutely horrible. And back in the day, before social media, it was in the locker room and trying to just mess around with the reporter who happened to be female. And just you've read all those stories. It's been well documented. But now it continues. No, not every guy's like this. In fact, very few are. But there's still these creeps that think it's okay to do what they did. And it's amazing. And now with social media, you get what we just talked about, those kind of risque, as you said, photos and pictures and off-color remarks and things of that nature. Just it's vulgar. It's dirty. He's sick. And Cohen didn't waste any time. It's just a shame that they didn't have anything on the guy, so they didn't have to waste their time in hiring him.
For a guy who he came up in scouting, he is not very good at reading clues. Like you would think. Like if you're a scout, that's what you've done. Like you were really good at it. Apparently, like
I thought she liked me.
Got all the way to the GM. You are very bad at reading obvious signs from people. Like that's. Right. I would question your scouting reports if you can't figure out that a woman who hasn't responded to 62 text messages doesn't want to see your junk. I think it's quite clear at that point. I think at if you. 10 texts would be incredibly creepy. Like at some, like you're like, okay, one or two, well, maybe she just didn't see those or whatever. You fire off a couple more. Okay, I don't know what. Maybe you're still just something. You've convinced yourself of something. 62 text messages, and you still then the next day you say, you know what? Fine, I'm just going to go with all of this. That just is. There's an amazingly just blind person to what the situation is.
Yeah, it's crazy because if I text somebody a question and I'm trying to touch base with somebody and they don't respond, I may do a second one. That's it. After that, I think I'm badgering them. So I will not ask a person a third time as far as the text message is concerned. This guy's trying to get with this woman and he's beyond badgering her. This is a criminal, and the guy loses his gig. And, again, it's a shame that the Mets had to go through it and hire the guy because I'm sure they vetted him and didn't have anything on record. There was no information.
And when they first, I think, he said it was just like, no, that was like a joke thing. That wasn't mine. That was like a joke image, just a stock image. Come on, dude.
Stock image. Oh, gosh.
Even if that was your, it wasn't. Say it wasn't your junk, and it was it still doesn't that's not a joke. You don't just send a woman that picture as a joke, especially a woman who you have texted 62 times and she hasn't responded to you.
Speaking of junk, as I make this transition, I watched part 2 of the Tiger Woods documentary last night, and I told you I had watched part 1 last week, and it was sort of slow, not that great, but it was setting up what was to come in part 2. And I know you don't get HBO, Eli. You haven't seen it yet. Part 2 was riveting. It was fantastic. And the main thing that I come out of that documentary, other than Tiger really, really had issues, is how he won the Masters in 2019. How the hell that guy came back and won the Masters. Through the back surgeries, through all the legal problems, aging, all that stuff. You talk about one of the most mentally tough athletes in the history of sports. I recommend it. Again, a little slow part 1, but it sets the tone. It's kind of more of the relationship he had with Earl Woods, his father, who was kind of a weird dude. And then you get part 2 and the epic fails and falls and the triumphs of Tiger Woods and how he's incredibly bounced back. But it has a little bit of everything in there for you about the triumph of coming back from all these obstacles, but also the sickness that he had. And these were women that were ready, able, and willing. And he was with a lot of different women. And then, of course, the whole car crash thing, then the later arrest that he had, and they have the body cam from the police. If you haven't seen that, he thought he was in Orange County. It's amazing. It's just really, really good. So watch it if you get a chance. The Tiger Woods 2-part documentary. It was on HBO Max. I'm sure they're also showing it on regular HBO. We
do not have a correct answer yet in the Humdinger's trivia question for a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. One of the teams has been mentioned a few different times, but people are not getting the second team. And there is 2 teams. You do need to come with 2 teams. The 2 teams that the Grizzlies have played the most in their annual Martin Luther King Day game need the 2 teams, because there are 2 teams that are tied that they have played the most. 67129, 67129, and the first correct answer will get $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's over at Poplar and Massey. What 2 teams have the Grizzlies played the most for their annual Martin Luther King Day game? 67129 for that $25 gift certificate.
Dr. Adam Walker oversees Memphis basketball. He's been very involved in rescheduling games and things of that nature. He's going to pinch hit this week for our friend Jeff Crane, talking University of Memphis athletics with Dr. Adam Walker when we return. Right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Start your day the right way with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane on Sports 56 mornings. Weekdays from 7 to 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 FM and 96.1 FM.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Ben Swinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Ben Swinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. 2 Memphis locations, 1 in Midtown on Hollywood Street across from the Liberty Bowl, and 1 in Cordova off Germantown Parkway next to the Fox and Hound. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Ben Swinger Glass.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now, Back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, just about halfway home on this Tuesday edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. Got 2.5 questions coming up later on in the hour. 5 favorite songs will come your way in hour number 3. In fact, we'll do that at 12:05. The word is change, so you need change in the title of your songs. You can text them in on the First Bank text line at 67129. Or if you're watching us live, you can message us at Sports 56 WHBQ with your lists on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Mentioned. Oh, go ahead.
We still no correct answer. Now we've had both of the correct answers, both teams mentioned, but still nobody has put the two of them together.
Give the question one more time for everybody.
What 2 teams have the Grizzlies played the most for their annual Martin Luther King Day game? And I'll even give you a hint. There's 2 teams. I told you there are 2 teams that are tied for the most. Yesterday, they played Phoenix for the 3rd time. Phoenix is not one of them.
Okay. All right, we'll get a correct answer, I'm sure, here in the next few moments. Every Tuesday during this time slot, we talk University of Memphis athletics, and we're normally joined by Jeff Crane. Today, a special guest. Very pleased to be joined by Dr. Adam Walker, University of Memphis Executive Associate AD of Development. You can follow Adam on Twitter at AdamGWalker1. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Adam, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you, Greg and Eli?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. First, for our listeners out there, Adam, if you wouldn't mind, explain to them what the Executive Associate AD does over at the University of Memphis.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit of everything in these times, right? So with COVID and short staff, it's a little bit administration, overseeing development, ticket office, M-Club, sports supervisor for men's basketball and track, and then anything else that Laird throws our way.
How rough is it right now from a financial standpoint? And this is across the board. This is around the country at every university and college. Just how tough is it for you guys right now?
Yeah, it has been a challenge, especially this year with COVID, and you guys have seen it's been well documented that the losses are going to be $10 to $12 million range. We have been fortunate with our fan base and our supporters now more than ever. We feel like we're in a tough position, but with great leadership. I know President Rudd and Raj, our CFO, have been very creative in what we're doing to get us through. And I'll tell you, our donors and fans have been tremendous. So we had a campaign, Keep Memphis Roaring. As you guys know, this fall, it's still ongoing. And we had over 75% of our season ticket holders donate their season tickets and donations back. So that has been a huge help to help keep us afloat this year.
So what's it been like for this basketball season with the games being postponed? Some of them, the day before. How has this been as far as then trying to get these games rescheduled? Everything else that goes into trying to do it, get in as many games as you possibly can.
Yeah, great point. I feel like Chuck Woolery on the dating game. I'm trying to match all these pieces together. So it has been a puzzle and a Tetris game all in one. So usually it just depends, right? It could be the day of the game, like it was at UCF. You get a call from the sports administrator and the AD saying, "Hey, we have some COVID issues. We're going to retest, but here's where we go from there." And really, what it is, it just depends. But we're working with multiple entities. So when we get the call like that at UCF that morning, you're working with the sports administrator, you're working with your medical staff, you're working with the conference. We have a medical advisory group. We call them the MAG. And they're ultimately the ones that decide whether we can play or not. So as you know, the conference has protocols in place. We've got to make sure we have 7 scholarship players and at least 1 coach to play. If you can't have at least that, it's automatic postponement or cancellation. So that was the case at UCF. And then a lot of times it's just between the schools trying to figure out, are we comfortable playing and going from there. Then when it comes to rescheduling, that's when it gets a little bit tricky because you got to work with whether it's a home game, you got to work with the form, you got to make sure the Grizzlies aren't playing because if they are playing, we can't play on the same day per NBA COVID protocols. You got to work with our TV partners, Tom Ojakian. I've been on the phone with him probably a couple times each week with ESPN, trying to figure out games because ESPN, as you guys know, games are getting postponed, canceled all across the nation, sometimes we have an opportunity to jump on if we're playing. So even when we don't have issues, other teams have issues, which is a domino effect. So it's a lot of moving pieces, especially on just even the travel piece too. So when things happen, you got to be a travel coordinator as well.
You mentioned something there, and that's what I was curious about this. So with in the current protocols, like you couldn't play like we've seen in the past on a Saturday where you guys play early and the Grizzlies play late at FedEx Forum. Is that you cannot do that this year?
That's correct. Yeah, and so that was I thought could be the case, and then reaching out and speaking with them just because of the protocols. The NBA has a lot of red zones, which basically means during the day of their game you can't enter those red zones, which is loading docks, some of the locker rooms, and even if we did want to play, we'd have to have multiple 4 or 5 hour break. The whole building would have to be sanitized. So logistically, it's not possible. Where you're right. In the past, we used to have quite a few double headers where we play in the morning or Grizzlies play at night or vice versa.
Is the testing protocol mandated by the American Conference, or is it different with each school in the particular state that they are in?
Yeah, great question. So we are bound by the conference regulations. So it's basically 3 COVID tests a week, including myself. Anyone tier 1, which are the coaches, the players, any of the staff that are interacting with one another. So it's 3 tests a week. We've been pretty fortunate, knock on wood, for several months, but we're doing the right things. But that doesn't mean, as you guys know, something couldn't pop up just going to the gas station or anywhere else.
So with the situation like what happened at UCF, has there been any? Do you guys get anything back from the conference or anything for the expenses for the travel when it wasn't your problem that caused the cancellation of the game?
Yeah, great question. So sometimes we're able to cancel. I know we have a lot of things in place with hotels and buses where we can get out of those if we're not already using them. With UCF, it's unfortunate that we're already there, so we had to bear that cost. But, they are, and I think that's one of the reasons, too, they're willing to come to our place for that game. So we got 2 home games. But unfortunately, some of those travel issues, we just have to eat those costs. Now, on the others, if we can catch it before, then we can have a small fee on the plane and cancel the hotels and buses. That's why I've been much more proactive, trying to work with the teams, making sure that we're good to go before we leave.
So the team returns to the hardwood on Thursday, the men's team, at FedEx Forum, and now fans, a certain amount will be allowed. What are the regulations for that and the protocol for Thursday?
Yeah, great question. So we were able to release yesterday that we're welcoming back fans. It's going to be the same regulations as before, so about 20%, about 3,600 fans are allowed back in, the same protocols as before. The only difference is FedEx Forum not going to have concessions. They want to make sure that we are responsible, we're socially distanced, keeping the masking on, and just logistic-wise, we're going to hold off on concessions until further notice. But the fans who have tickets previously, they can use those tickets. They'll be good for this Thursday, and hopefully we can get through the next 6 weeks just like we got through football this year.
Is this still is there any possibility that later on they could even be eased a little bit more, or is this kind of the idea that this will probably be this way for the rest of the season?
This is probably, I would say, just candidly speaking myself, probably the way it's going to be the rest of the season. That we're hopeful. We check in with Shelby County Health Department probably on a weekly to every other week basis, and they've been very understanding and allowed us to have fans back with those protocols in place. But kind of working with them, I foresee this would probably be the way it would be throughout the remainder of the season.
Dr. Adam Walker joining us, University of Memphis Executive Associate AD of Development. You can follow him on Twitter at AdamGWalker1. I know it's still down the road, but before too long, the conference tournament will be upon us. Has there been any talk about what happens if a team doesn't have the needed players to play in a game? They have been hit with the COVID-19. I would assume with no time period to kind of reschedule things that it would be a forfeit. Have you guys discussed that?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we're just getting into those protocols and the conference-wise. So we do plan to have a conference tournament, as you guys know. We're planning on having some limited fans. We have not gotten into those protocols, but like you said, it would be hard to imagine, especially if a team is positive, and you have to quarantine for the required days, it would be difficult to reschedule or have that team in there. So that's something we're going to have a little bit more further discussion on. But you're right; it could get these conference tournaments could get very, very interesting if you got teams that are positive.
Are you still expecting that? Or will the Temple game get rescheduled?
Yeah, so we're working with Temple. Actually, I had a call yesterday with them, and we're still working to reschedule that one. So hopefully, in the next couple days, we'll hear on that one, and hopefully we get a game scheduled this week. Hopefully, we can get that rescheduled.
It's kind of strange because normally you wouldn't have a rescheduled game where the team would give up the home date. For example, UCF is now going to play 2 in Memphis, the regularly scheduled game, and the game that was postponed in Orlando. And I don't know what the situation is with fans down there and what kind of an economic loss is it if they were allowed to have a certain amount of fans. So I guess extreme times bring about extreme measures, and you have something that just normally would not happen.
Yeah, we were fortunate to get that game at home. I think they were understanding, and this is kind of the way we've been operating under the conference rules. If it's really on that team, for instance, UCF had the COVID issues. We expect them to be a little bit more lenient.
Okay.
And so obviously we're good partners, but they said, hey, you guys flew down here. You had good intentions. It was our issues. We're willing to come and play a back-to-back at your place. And so that's something we're working with Temple right now. SMU, they said, hey, we'll come back to you guys, and we rescheduled the home game, but they said we still want to keep that road game as scheduled, because we did talk about, well, if you're going to come back, let's just play 2 games in Memphis. But, we understood that, hey, that game is already scheduled on their books to be played there. So they said, hey, we'll come back the 26th, play at Memphis, and then we'll fly there the 28th for them. So it's kind of a give and take.
And I guess we always have to ask this question: Are we confident that there will be a game Thursday?
Knock on wood. Got my COVID test this morning, so hopefully everything comes back negative. So we're planning on playing on Thursday. I haven't heard otherwise.
Well, we appreciate it, Adam. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been awfully tough for everybody, whether it be administrators, whether it be the student athletes, even the fans. Tough times, but certainly doing everything you can to make it as smooth as could be. Appreciate it, Adam. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you both. Have a great day.
Take care. All right, so we had Adam Walker on from the University of Memphis, and we do have University of Memphis Tigers basketball news. And this is something that I had some good inside information that it was going to happen, but I wasn't privy, and I was privy to the information, but not able to bring that information out to light until it was confirmed. But now several different outlets and the school will announce that Jordan Nesbitt, who was a 2021, class of 2021 commitment signee, is now enrolled at the University of Memphis. He has already graduated and will join the school, will join the team, rather, and attend classes and will be eligible immediately. And remember, with this free year of eligibility, won't lose a year of eligibility. Now, I'm not sure if Jordan Nesbitt's a one-and-done type guy, but he is the number 11 small forward in the country in the class of 2021. He is the number 48 overall player. He's a 4-star. He's from St. Louis, Gabe, from the St. Louis area. And now Jordan Nesbitt will be joining the Tigers. This is very unusual.
Well, yeah. I mean, normally, we see football players who kind of graduate early, enroll in that second semester so they could go through spring ball and to get ready for that first fall season. But for a basketball guy to do it is not real common, because normally you wouldn't have a free year of eligibility either. So it would be enrolling early and doing this would not make a whole lot of sense for that one semester. But this is what now I'm just drawing a blank. Stokes, Jarnell Stokes, did this at Tennessee, right?
Yes.
So
yes, he did.
It could happen in some circumstances, and again, but I would assume that the fact that there's a free year of eligibility probably makes it a little easier right now, because you're not wasting a year to only play the second semester.
We're going to have Brooks Hansen on tomorrow from Go Tigers 24/7. Again, he's he and Christian Fowler have been sitting on the story, I think, for over a week now. And already at Go Tigers 24/7, they have an interview with Jordan Nesbitt. So they've already interviewed Jordan Nesbitt, and they have that right now on their site. But again, Brooks tomorrow will be on the program to talk about this, talk about a lot of things with the Tigers. The Tigers have a lot of issues, and how can they fix those issues? Want to deal with that a little bit later on in the show. When we return, we have 2.5 questions. We'll do our 5 favorite songs at 12:05. But again, I want to circle back to Tigers basketball, this news, what it means. Can this guy bring chemistry? Or I would say it's a possibility that could disrupt chemistry, but there's not a lot of chemistry right now. So maybe it could change for the good. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5.
Grab a seat for a happy hour with John Harden.
Passengers will please fasten their seatbelts.
On Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5 FM and 96.1 FM.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from, factory rebates up to $6,000 and interest rates low as 0%. Immediate financing with next to nothing down, a $6 million used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000 and monthly payments under $200. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just a way of doing business. Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville, we make it fun to buy a car again.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. You are powerful. You're a warrior who bathes in your enemy's tears. Then you step out of that refreshing tear bath and into a bathrobe that somehow looks good on you. Yeah, you can pull off a robe. There. Don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you save money for driving safely with Snapshot from Progressive. Savings you can use to buy more robes. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I just want to make it clear, when it comes to Tiger basketball content, Go Tigers 24/7 has all these stories. So you may see 92.9 saying that they broke a story. This story, like I told you, I knew this story yesterday. These guys have had the story for 10 days. That's why Christian Fowler is able to tweet out right away a sit-down video interview that took place, a podcast reaction, audio interview with Nesbitt. So take it with a grain of salt when some people say that they break stories, okay? That's the outlet right there you want to follow for Tiger basketball and stories that are break. They, out of the kindness of their heart, held back for the university. So I give all the credit in the world to Brooks and Christian. Brooks will be on the program today. Again, this will be interesting with Jordan Nesbitt. We'll talk about it more in hour number 3.
Brooks will be on tomorrow.
What did I say?
Today.
Did I say today?
Yes.
He'll be on Wednesday. I thought I said Wednesday. But anyway, tomorrow. Yeah, which is Wednesday.
We still do not have a correct answer for Humdinger.
Are you kidding me?
This one, I didn't think this was going to be that difficult, honestly. But nobody's been able to put together the right combination of teams. Again, we've had both teams mentioned, but not put together.
Do you want to mention all the teams that have been mentioned, and they could come up with the two?
I will give this clue as well. The two teams that it is. Again, the question is, what two teams have the Grizzlies played the most for their annual Martin Luther King Day game? Mm-hmm. So there's two teams they've played an equal amount of times for that game. Again, I did say earlier, yesterday they played the Suns for the third time. Phoenix is not one of the correct answers. So obviously they played both of these teams more than 3 times.
Right.
These two teams geographically are among the closest to Memphis. They're not. I'm not saying they're the two closest, but they are among the closest to Memphis geographically. So you can eliminate a lot of teams. You can eliminate the West Coast teams, the East Coast teams. These two teams are both among the closest to Memphis of all the teams in the NBA.
It's a good hint.
67129, 67129. Text in. And the first correct answer will get a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. Again, the two teams the Grizzlies have played the most for their annual Martin Luther King Day game. Text in 67129 with two teams, and the first correct answer gets that $25 gift certificate. Time now for 2.5 questions.
Who, what, where, when, how, and why? Questions start with these. Step right up and answer all my questions, if you please.
I'm just a normal kid, like you, except that I ask questions. And because I'm brave enough to ask questions, I come under scrutiny.
Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions?
Now here is a question for you.
What does the fuck say?
All right, question number 1. Looking at the division, the football bowl subdivision coaches, what percentage of coaches in the football bowl subdivision do you think could be fired for cause if their school really wanted to?
The percentage of FBS head coaches who could be fired if their school wanted to.
If the school really wanted to find something on them
to
fire them for cause, how many many do you think the school could find something to do it?
Okay, so you're not saying they've already found something and they're holding on to it and not doing anything about it. You're saying if they really dug deep, they could find something.
If they want to do what Tennessee did, do an investigation to find something to fire the guy for cause. How many of you think have something that the school could find that would be worthy of firing them for cause?
Firing for cause. So it's got to be serious. It's not just one infraction, something small. Has to be huge. Has to be level 1, level 2. Probably just level 1. I would say there's 128 teams, something like that. FBS, somewhere in that neighborhood. 126, 127, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I would say 50%. 50%, half of the programs.
If I just went to just the Power 5 conferences, what percentage?
80%.
Ooh. Gabe, what would you say on that?
I don't know. I don't know how to address that question fully.
Just a big old guess.
I feel like realistically, if you went to the SEC and you probably excluded South Carolina because they have a new coach, Vandy and Mizzou, I'm sure you could find something in regards to recruiting violations.
Don't exclude South Carolina, Missouri.
No. I from what I understand about Mizzou and Eli Drinkwitz and what he's doing, I mean, he's a very straight edge.
But you're talking about in general. In general,
I'm not talking about
he's not talking about the specific coach that's there right now.
Current coach. I'm talking. Generally the coaches at these universities.
In general, in Power Five schools, how many of them, if they dug deep, could find a possible level 1 charge?
Level 1?
Well, whatever it takes to get the coach fired with cause.
I'd say 75%.
Okay, so I said
75% of the Power 5.
Yes, and I said 80. And then what do you say about
SEC? 100%.
And then what do you? Well, maybe not Vandy.
But maybe Vandy too.
Maybe. And then what do you say about overall FBS schools? What was I said 50%. I was just trying to count how many schools there are in the Power 5 and put it up to
overall FBS. I mean, in the lower levels, I can tell you that's not. Cheating doesn't help you.
Well, cheating didn't help Tennessee.
Cheating doesn't always help you. You get better recruits than these guys. So I'm going to say overall FBS probably about 50%. You could find.
Yeah, so we're alike, you and I, in our guesses.
You say the entire SEC.
Every last one of them, even Vandy. No question.
I don't know about Vandy.
I'm not saying level 1 necessarily, but you could find something for sure.
All right. Question number 2. How many more coaches does Tennessee go through before they win the SEC East?
I would need to know what they're doing on the recruiting end of things. Are they able to get a 5-star quarterback? I mean, for goodness sakes, they get a stud quarterback like Peyton Manning, they could turn it around fairly quickly. But
do you think the next coach can do that at Tennessee? You could say never. You could say
it's not.
They're never going to win the SEC East again.
They're going to win the SEC East. Damn it! I'm going to put my foot down, and I've been saying every year they're going to turn it around. You get a Hugh Freeze. Can you win the East with his offense and his style? You can, but can you win without doing a little? You know what I'm saying? What we were just talking about. And I don't think he's going to go down that road again, would he? I mean, there's no chance. If you're already caught one time and you pay the price, I don't think that would happen. Can you win on the up and up? I think they can, but I think it's going to be a while. And I don't know if they're going to get Hugh Freeze down the road. Again, I think we're all in agreement that Kevin Steele will probably be the guy running the show in 21.
So you think it'll happen before the world ends? Before we can no longer live
When
on
is
the
the
earth?
world going to end? Does anybody know?
No one knows. No one knows.
How long until they win the East?
How many coaches?
How many coaches? Okay.
Do you think that the next coach?
Will they get it right?
Confidence that they can get it right here enough to win the SEC East?
No, the track record recent hires tells me that they're not going to get it right. So I'm going to say.
So do they ever get it right?
Yes, they will get it right. They will get it right. We're going to have Aaron Hayden on, by the way, tomorrow, former Tennessee Vols star, get his thoughts on everything that's going down. By the way, his son being courted by everybody, including Tennessee, where I just mentioned he played. I would say two coaches. It'll take 2 coaches to win the SEC East again. That could be 7 years, could be 8 years, could be 3 years, could be 4 years. 2 coaches. So right now, this would be the first coach.
So this guy's not going to get it done, but his replacement will.
Yes, that's my guess.
All right. Question number 3. Rank these number 1 wide receivers that are for each team left in the NFL playoffs.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams.
Ooh, that's a good question. Wow, that is tough. I'm going to go, and I like them all. Devontae Adams 1, Tyreek Hill 2, my boy from Maryland, Stephon Diggs, who is unbelievable, 3, and Mike Evans 4.
Wow. So the guy who just set the record for most 1,000-yard seasons to start a career is 4th.
Yeah, he's had games where he's a little bit off where he's made some drops. And then other times where he hasn't been targeted enough because they have Godwin and Brown and Gronk and Brayton and all those other weapons. But Devontae Adams, like you said, you got to always pick him as the first touchdown. So he's going to score a touchdown every game, just about. And Tyreek Hill, come on, man. That dude, he's unbelievable. He's got to be the strongest pound-for-pound player in the NFL.
By the way, if you bet on 3 of those guys this past weekend for first touchdown, you were a winner.
And you did.
I didn't bet on Mike Evans. I did not have Mike Evans.
Okay.
I did have Mike Evans for an anytime touchdown, though. I got money out of his, but I did not have his first touchdown.
Stephon Diggs has helped Buffalo turn it around. He's been instrumental. His first year in Buffalo. What a year. And then Mike Evans. I don't know. You could debate me on this one, but I don't see how I go another way. I could go Hill 1. Gabe, what do you think?
I'd go Diggs 1.
Diggs 1?
Yeah. I'd go Diggs 1.
Eli?
Right this second. There's not a single and I know you could say that probably about Tyreek Hill as well, but there's not a single person in the NFL that can cover Stephon Diggs one-on-one.
Who can cover Tyreek Hill? Who can even when
Someone
they
who's
had
got
to
some
cover him
speed.
at the end of the game, he makes the great catch. But on the pass from Henny. Eli, what would you do? It's not easy. It's not easy.
I probably would have Mike Evans 4 though, based on what we just saw this year.
Savoy?
I would go. I would probably go Diggs.
I go Diggs, Adams, Hill, Evans.
Adams has a touchdown every single game, doesn't he?
I would probably I might put Adams 3rd.
Oh my gosh!
And I would put Evans 4th probably.
I think Evans is 4. I think we've all come to the conclusion that Evans is 4, and that's a great number 4.
See, Adams is great, and he's made me a lot of money. I love the guy, but
take the personal stuff out of it.
Still he's got to get open. I get it, but Aaron Rodgers was so great this year, and he is the guy on that team that he throws to. That's why you can bet on it for first touchdown, because Aaron Rodgers is so great, and he's the guy he throws it to.
So you're saying Adams is great because of Rodgers, but
I think Rodgers helps him a lot in the fact that he is the guy on that team to throw to. Whereas some of these Evans has Godwin on the other side. He has a great receiver on the other side of him. Diggs. Beasley they throw to Cole Beasley a lot.
Yeah, but he's been hurt and he's okay.
And Hill has Kelsey, who they throw to a lot. So some of the numbers don't in touchdowns and all that, these guys don't get those the way Adams does, because Adams is the guy that Rodgers is going to throw to in that situation. And Rodgers is unbelievably good.
So who are your 4 in order?
I just said Diggs, Hill, Adams, Evans.
Man, oh man, it's hard to argue. I think we all agree that Evans is 4. But
I'm not going to complain if I have Mike Evans on my team.
I'm not going to complain about any of these guys.
He's unbelievably good.
I'm not going to complain about any of these guys. Really, I should put Tyreek Hill 1. That's what I should do. But because Adams has a touchdown every single game, and whether it's mostly because of Rodgers, which it probably is, he still catches it. When he throws it to him, he catches it. Those goal line plays, he gets hit, he catches it. He scores a touchdown. He has a nose for the end zone. That's why I'm going number 1 with Adams.
We finally have a correct answer.
My gosh.
Finally, somebody put it together. We were all over the place with this. But the correct answer, and I still think only one person got it right, if I'm not mistaken. Out of they had all kinds of guesses. A lot of people are guessing the Atlanta Hawks. Well, I would love for them to play the Atlanta Hawks every year. They haven't played the Atlanta Hawks in this game very often.
Which is crazy that it hasn't happened.
The 2 teams that they have played the most for the MLK Day game, the New Orleans Pelicans and the Chicago Bulls.
I did not know it was the Bulls.
They have played each of them 4 times. They have played Phoenix 3 times. They have played the Rockets twice. Nobody else has more than once.
I knew the Pelicans was 1. I thought it may have been the Spurs or the Thunder. Did not know it was the Chicago Bulls.
So congratulations to our winner. We will be notifying you on how you can get your prize.
Hour 3 next, 5 favorite songs. Then we'll get into the Tigers and the addition of Jordan Nesbitt for this season. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Taqueria Express number 6 has a new location, 6290 Winchester Road. Taqueria Express has tacos of all kinds, including chicken and sirloin, beef fajitas, shrimp fajitas, enchiladas with homemade tortillas, even chicken wings. And my favorite is the mango sauce, which goes great with a nice cold beer. You can dine in and take advantage of the full bar or get your order to go. Call ahead, 901-800-2737 to pick up or use the drive-thru. Ask how you can win a 2021 Nissan Versa. Taqueria Express.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Ben Swinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Ben Swinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. 2 Memphis locations, one in Midtown on Hollywood Street across from the Liberty Bowl, and one in Cordova off Germantown Parkway next to the Fox and Hound. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Ben Swinger Glass.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:05 is the time. Final hour for us today here on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Middays. Greg, Eli, and Gabe. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Third hour of the program brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. They're located at 5143 Quince Road, right next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes. They carry local products. They have a full-time locksmith on duty. Whatever it is, whatever your home maintenance project is, they can get you the right supplies and steer you in the right direction, help you as far as that project is concerned. For convenience, service, knowledge, and price, It's East Memphis Ace Hardware, 901-683-8688 on the web, acehardware.com. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday, 10 until 4.
Raider Corey with those, he said Adams, Diggs, Hill, and Evans. And here's the thing:
that's what I have.
When I'm ranking them, I am saying who I'd rather like. If you were talking about simply as a wide receiver, I would put Hill last. But as an overall weapon, I put him second.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm taking into consideration. You don't have to just throw it to a receiver.
Hill is not the wide receiver. I don't believe that the rest of them are. But he is the speed that he has just makes him a weapon that is so hard to defend.
He's to a greater degree, but we're seeing already Antonio Gibson make a name for himself in the NFL. But he's what Gibson was with the Tigers. The old Swiss Army knife comparison. He does a lot of different things. That's what you can do with Tyreek Hill. It's just amazing that a guy so small, but he's strong. He's really strong. But they can't catch the guy.
I mean, he plays faster. He plays faster than anybody I've ever seen in the NFL. Like it's amazing watching guys who look like they have the angle on him. And how that angle disappears because he's just moving. He's moving at a different speed than everybody else on the field. It's so crazy to watch him.
Yeah, as I was saying, the Cleveland Browns they couldn't catch the sweeps, and they would run Hill or Williams or whoever it was. They kept going to Myles Garrett's side because Myles Garrett doesn't have that lateral speed, and he was all in on the run. And once they give the ball on the sweep and he has to reverse with that big body, he can't catch those guys. They get to the edge and they turn it up. It's a positive. That's a really strong weapon for Kansas City with that team speed. Time now for our 5 favorite songs.
Five favorite songs.
All right, the word is change today. You need change in the title of your song. Text in 67129, First Bank text line. If you haven't done so already, get them in now. And also, if you're watching us live, you can message us with your lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Yesterday it was Gabe, I think, that went first. So we'll go Eli first, me second, Gabe third, and then we'll get to our listeners. I thought it was a pretty good category. Pretty good.
Yep, that was good. Yeah. Good quality stuff here.
All right, so lead us off, Eli.
No honorable mentions today. Number 5, A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. Number 4, Roll With the Changes, REO Speedwagon. Number 3, Changes by David Bowie. Number 2, Change the World, Eric Clapton. And number 1.
The future's in the air, can feel it everywhere. I'm blowing with the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on a glory night, where the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change.
The Scorpions. Wind of Change. You got to follow that Moskwa down to Gorky Park.
Huh? What was that?
You got to follow the Moskwa down to Gorky Park.
I don't know what that means.
That's the opening of that song.
I don't know.
You don't know that song?
No, I've heard that song, but it's a really good song. But
play the very beginning of the song, Gabe. Can you play the very beginning of it? It's the best part of the song. Because nobody knows what the heck that means.
Follow the Moskwa down to Gorky Park.
Oh, gosh.
Listening to the wind of change.
Gorky Park, they made a movie out of Gorky Park. I know that. Is that in, that's in Russia, right?
I believe Gorky Park is in Russia.
Yeah, I had no idea.
He said Moskva, so that sounds like a very Russian word.
They're not a Russian band, right? The Scorpions. I don't know. Again, I've heard of the Scorpions. I know a couple of their songs. I did not even think about this one. It wouldn't have made my list, but it's a good song. Number 1 on Eli's list. So there you go. All right, let me get to my list. And by the way, I don't have an honorable mention either. And this song is a great song, which was on Eli's list. It was not on my list because I just have 5 better in my opinion. But A Change Is Gonna Come is a song by Sam Cooke. And the movie that's out now, not movie, but documentary. Nah, it's not a documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. I think I watched it the other day. It's One Night in Miami. And it's based on true events. But Sam Cooke is part of that. Muhammad Ali, James Brown, and Malcolm X. And they're all kind of together in a hotel room in Miami and talking about the politics and everything that's going on, sports. It's really good. Really, really good. So that song, when I was looking it up last night, just reminded me. I just watched that deal a couple of days ago. All right, number 5 for me, Cool Change by the Little River Band. Number 4, Change the World by Eric Clapton. Number 3, Change by John Waite. Number 2, Roll with the Changes, REO Speedwagon. And here's my number 1.
Every time I thought I got it made, it seemed the taste was not so sweet. So I turned myself to face me, but I've never caught a glimpse how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. Changes. Turn and face the strain.
Seems like every day with my number 1 song, I'm always talking about the late, great whoever. And now it's the late, great David Bowie with Changes. My number 1.
By the way, Moskwa is the actual Russian name for the city of Moscow. It's also a river that runs through there, and that's why they say you follow the Moskwa down to Gorky Park. I guess the river goes to Gorky Park.
Are they Russians?
They are from Germany, somebody says.
Oh, from Germany. Okay. There you go. Gib?
I guess we know now. Learn something new every day.
The more you know.
Absolutely. I have no honorable mentions either. I start with 5, a John Mayer song, Waiting on the World to Change. 4, Change Lanes by Kevin Gates. 3, I agree with you, Eli. A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. Had to put it in there. 2, A$AP Rocky is here.
Oh, yes.
With the song Changes.
Very nice. Didn't know A$AP was did a Changes song.
And then I feel like you guys could possibly guess what my number 1 is, but here it is.
First ship them, don't let them deal with brothers. Give them guns, step back, watch them kill each other. It's time to fight back, that's what Huey said. 2 shots in the dark, now Huey's dead. I got love for my brothers, but we can never go nowhere unless we share with each other. We gotta start making changes. Learn to see me as a brother instead of 2 distant strangers. And that's how it's supposed to be. How can the devil take a brother if he's close to me? I let it go back to when we played as kids, but then changed. That's the way it is. Come on. That's just the way
Changes by Tupac.
So Tupac is sampling Bruce Hornsby in the Range in that song.
Yes, he is.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I ever heard that song before.
Interesting. You haven't heard that.
No.
Eli, you've heard this, right?
I maybe have. I don't know. It sounds familiar. I wouldn't.
Yeah, because it was
it's
Bruce
sampled.
Hornsby in the Range. It was good the first time I heard it, when it was known as Bruce Hornsby.
I did not know that there was the. I
thought this was a more known Tupac song. I thought this was like one that people are very familiar with.
Maybe
that very well could be. My knowledge of Tupac is very, very limited. I mean,
you're talking to Eli and me here.
Most people, yes, might be very familiar with it. My Tupac knowledge is, if you ask me to name a Tupac song, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So it's tough for me on that one.
Name a Tupac song.
I can't do it.
I just told you.
Well, that
you could
one,
just
yes.
name that one.
Well, yes. I mean, obviously that one. But yeah, if I said somebody just comes up to me during the day and says, "Hey, what's a Tupac song?" I'll be like, I have no idea. So.
Well, you have one. So if
It's
that situation
changes.
Yes.
Okay.
If that situation ever arises, you have one.
If there's ever
you have one loaded in there.
If there's ever $1 million on the line, somebody comes up like, "I'll give you $1,000. You can name a Tupac song." I'll just go with Changes. All right. The first bank text line here, Carolyn. Number 5, Change Your Life by Haiti Baby. HAITI BABII.
Hattie? Haiti?
Haiti Baby? We're going to go Haiti, baby. Number 4, When the Seasons Change, Five Finger Death Punch. Number 3, Change Locations by Drake and Future. Number 2, Change the World, Eric Clapton. And number 1, A Change is Going to Come, Sam Cooke.
Her knowledge of music is unbelievable. She gives us a list every day, and some of these artists I've never heard of. Man, it's eclectic, her list every single day. Good for you, Carol.
Downtown Leo, number 5, You Can't Change That, Ray Parker Jr.
Yeah, I consider that one.
Number 4, Waiting on the World to Change, John Mayer. Number 3, A Change Will Do You Good, Sheryl Crow. Cool Change at number 2, Little River Band. Number 1, Roll With the Changes, REO. Let's see here. Raider Corey. Number 5, Change the World. Number 4, Changes, Ziggy Marley. Number 3, Waiting on the World to Change, John Mayer. Number 2, A Change is Going to Come. And number 1, Changes by Tupac. So you and Raider Corey got the same number 1.
We always have, at least 3 songs that are the same in our top 5.
Lou in KC, number 5, Everything Must Change by George Benson. Number 4, A Change is Going to Come. Number 3, Change in the Weather by Buddy Guy. Number 2, You Can't Change That, Ray Parker Jr. And number 1, Can I Change My Mind by Tyrone Davis. Billy in Covington, number 5, Life Changes, Billy Currington. Number 4, The Changes, Garth Brooks. Number 3, That Changes Everything, Billy Currington. Number 2, She Couldn't Change Me, Montgomery Gentry. And number 1, Everything's Changed by Lone Star. Honorable mention to Change Partners by Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire.
Billy in Covington had a lot of Billy Curlington songs.
Currington,
whatever the hell it was.
Kelly Kapowski's back today. Number 5, Waiting on the World to Change. Number 4, Changes, Taylor Swift. There's a lot of people. I did notice there's a lot of people that have a song just called Changes. 3, Changes, Justin Bieber. 2, Night Changes, One Direction. Oh, this is a great list, Kelly Kapowski. We got Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, One Direction. Number 1, Changed by Rascal Flatts. Kelly says it's her favorite Flat song as it speaks to how you're changed when you find the Lord. Well, good for you, Kelly.
Yeah, try to make fun of that one, Eli.
I'm not making fun of any of their songs. I just don't like it. Barney Fife checking in. Let's see. Number 5. Oh, yes. I forgot about this song. I think I had this as an honorable mention before. Number 5. Our lawyer made us change the name of this song so we wouldn't get sued by Fall Out Boy. Number 4, A Change is Going to Come. Number 3, Changes, Justin Bieber. Number 2, Time Changes Everything, George Jones. And number 1, Roll With the Changes, REO. So we have 2 people with Bieber on the list. I think that is a first since we've started doing this. Bobby in Halls. Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitude. Jimmy Buffett, number 5. That's a good one.
Terrific one. I didn't even think about that one.
I completely overlooked that one.
Oh, man.
Number 4, It's All About to Change, Travis Tritt. Number 3, Changes by A$AP Rocky. Number 2, Changes, David Bowie. And number 1, Waiting on the World to Change, John Mayer. Honorable mention to Change Partners by Lawrence Welk. So we got Change Partners by Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, and now Change Partners by Lawrence Welk.
Same song, you think?
Sure, why not?
I'm guessing it is.
I would think so. Ray in Cordova, honorable mention to A Change is Going to Come. Number 5, You Can't Change That, Radio. Number 4, Waiting on the World to Change, John Mayer. Number 3, Changes, David Bowie. Number 2, Roll With the Changes, REO. And number 1, Cool Change, Little River Band. Bobby in Midtown, honorable mention to Change Partners by Stephen Stills. So we get a new rendition of Change Partners. Number 5, Change of the Guard by Steely Dan. Number 4, Perpetual Change by Yes. Number 3, Changes, David Bowie. Number 2, Changes in Attitude, Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitude. And number 1, Them Changes, live version by Jimi Hendrix and the Band of Gypsies. Let's see. Number 1, Change by Charlie Puth. Number 2, Change, Carrie Underwood. Number 3, Change by Deftone. And number 4, Change by Taylor Swift. 2 Taylor Swift mentions today and 2 Justin Bieber mentions. Does it get better than that?
Yes.
And a One Direction. Only One Direction, but 2 Taylor Swifts and 2 Justin Biebers. God bless y'all. Coming with the good stuff. And a Haiti Baby mention. Who doesn't love some Haiti Baby?
Is that it for you?
That's all the list here on the text line.
All right. All right, on social media, we got Andrew on Facebook. Number 5, Baby, Can I Change My Mind? Michael McDonald. Number 4, A Change Is Going to Come, Sam Cooke. Number 3, The Change, Stephen Curtis Chapman. Number 2, Life Changes, Thomas Rhett. Number 1, Change the World, Eric Clapton. Honorable mention, I Feel a Change, Jake Newcomb, lead singer of local band Bluff City Bandits. Solo originals coming out this spring, co-written by me, by Andrew.
How about that?
How about that?
That's a first.
Andrew in the music business, I assume, or he dabbles in the music business. Well
we have
done.
not had anybody that listed a song that they have written.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
What an epic day. I mean, this is 2 Taylor Swifts, 2 Justin Biebers, 1 Haiti Baby, 1 One Direction, and somebody who actually wrote the song that's on their list.
One more list from Nicholas. This is on YouTube. Number 5, John Mayer, Waiting on the World to Change. Number 4, Tupac, Change. Number 3, 3-6 Mafia, Money Didn't Change Me. Number 2, Changes by David Bowie. And number 1, Them Changes by Thundercat. You got a Thundercat mention.
I just wish the best song with the best change lyric is Georgia Satellites. Little change in my pocket going jing-a-ling-a-ling. And that makes me mad that song can't be included.
Right. Doesn't have change in the title of the song. All right, what's our topic for tomorrow?
Tomorrow's topic. Tomorrow we're going to do the word wrong.
Wrong. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. All right, Steve Nash confirms Kyrie Irving practiced today for the first time in over 2 weeks. He says Kyrie addressed the rest of the team at practice and said he was excited to be back, and everyone welcomed him back. So it's kumbaya for the moment with the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Hi, I'm Kyrie. It's nice to meet you. Hello, Kyrie. This is James.
Until they lose the first game he plays, and then everybody's going to be like, well, see,
all hell breaks
they
loose.
were just fine with Harden and Durant. Now you put Kyrie in the mix, and things go wrong.
Absolutely. All right, when we return, we're going to get back into the news of the day locally with the Tigers adding a player for basketball this season. Jordan Nesbitt will tell you all about that if you haven't heard yet. What does it mean for the team? Love to get your thoughts as well. You could do so via the First Bank text line at 67129. And then time permitting, we'll go on to the NFL championship games for this Sunday with Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Buffalo, and Kansas City. And also a tremendously bad beat in college basketball last night. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Catch all the NFL playoff action all the way through to the Super Bowl. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
The Winter Collection sale now until March at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Your one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. This great Winter Collection sales event has super special financing offers featuring the flagship LS500 and Lexus named the #1 certified pre-owned program in the industry for the 4th straight year by U.S. News and World Report. The Winter Collection sale now until March at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches: 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
You ever lie awake at night, can't sleep, not wanting to see what time it is because that's just going to keep you up? Tonight, try ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night. Unlike other sleep aids, our extended-release melatonin helps you fall asleep naturally and then slowly releases so you stay asleep longer through the night. It's non-habit-forming with no next-day grogginess. ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night, so you can fall asleep and stay asleep. Available at retailers near you.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Middle of the road, he's trying to find me. I'm
Slip
standing
of
in the
the
middle
tongue,
of
but
life with my
Raider
hands
Corey
behind
was there to correct me. I said James Brown, but I meant Jim Brown in the One Night in Miami show. Again, it's not a if it's based on true events, but not totally true, is it still a documentary? I guess it could still be, right? I don't know what the definition of the doc is, but I watched that on Amazon Prime. And again, it's Jim Brown, who's still with us, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, so one of the 4. But it's something you should watch. And again, I mentioned earlier the Tiger Woods documentary as well on HBO Max.
This is just a bit of news away from the sports world. The health department will have a new health directive issued tomorrow that will take effect this Saturday. Not really much change, although restaurants will be allowed to go back to 50% capacity. But other than that, not a whole lot of change as far as the current situation here in Shelby County, but that will be the new one because the Health Directive 16 expires on Friday, so this will be number 17, which takes effect on Saturday.
Okay. So if you haven't heard yet, Jordan Nesbitt, who is a small forward and one of the 4 Tigers signees, not just commits, he signed for the class of 2021. Well, he graduated high school early and is now enrolled at the University of Memphis and is eligible to play immediately. And it won't count against him because of this year of eligibility is not counted as a year. So the first thing I thought when I heard this news yesterday, again, was why would you waste a year of eligibility playing the remainder of the season? But again, it doesn't count against you. Now, how it works, I don't know. He's a 4-star small forward out of St. Louis, the number 48 overall player in the class of 2021. If this was a team that was clicking all cylinders and just incredible chemistry, and then you wonder about bringing in this guy and you're going to ease him in and then give him minutes and where the minutes coming from. But this is a team right now that is trying to find direction, trying to find leadership, consistency, all kinds of things. So maybe it's a shot in the arm. It can't hurt. This is a guy that will get a jump already on for next season when he's joined by the other 3 newcomers and the returning players. And I don't think anybody in their right mind believes that all these guys are coming back for whatever the reason may be. So I think this can't hurt, right? That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, for him, obviously, yes, it's a head start kind of in next year. What he's able to do this year, who knows? We shall see. But if you can graduate early and enroll early in the situation we're in, why not do it? I mean, there is no negative for this to be done this year, with the fact that year doesn't count as a year of eligibility. So makes a lot of sense on his part. And for the Tigers, yes, having another body, somebody that might be able to play, might be able to help. Sure. What's it hurt? What? There's no drawback to it.
It would have been nice to see him able to join 2 weeks ago, because then the Tigers went basically without a game for 2 weeks where they were just practicing. And that's what he needs, is the reps and practices to get used to his new teammates and his teammates to get used to him. But again, he's another small forward. And as I mentioned earlier, Brooks Hansen's going to join us tomorrow on the show. And Christian Fowler with 24/7 with the Go Tigers 24/7 did a sit down with him. So they know a lot more about the young man than I certainly do. But he is a small forward. So he's a guy who could play. He could play big guard. He could play the wing. And that's where it seems like the Tigers have a plethora of players. The problem is at point guard. So we'll see.
Got a text that says, if it goes true to form, Nesbitt will be terrible at the charity stripe, foul too much, and be very inconsistent.
Oh, jeez. Ouch.
Somebody else says, can Jordan shoot? If not, nothing's going to change. Well, we just went through a lot of songs about change. Not sure if Jordan Nesbitt will bring change or not.
Well,
not sure if this will be Sam Cooke, a change is going to come, or what exactly it'll be.
Well, I did say numerous times that I really like this class, and you kind of poked fun at me because, what class do you not like when it's so heralded at the University of Memphis, especially under Penny, that all these guys are great. But I did like the makeup of the class of 2021 and the positions that they play. You got you have a shooter, a pure shooter, but you have now this kid joining early. Like we said, it can't hurt, and for him to get the reps and all that will help. But just how quickly can he adapt to this, where going from high school to college is, as we've learned, is not the easiest thing to do for these guys. Even the heralded ones who are expected to be great from the get-go are not always. So how much playing time will he get early on? How quickly can he understand what they're running? I mean, right now you look and you go, does anybody understand what they're running offensively? It seemed like that has been issues for this team throughout the season. But I want to wish him well, and it's, again, very, very unique to be able to add a player at the college level mid-season like this where it doesn't affect his eligibility.
And, I mean, to the point of the texter, yeah, I mean, if he's not a great shooter, like, what can he truly bring? I mean, what their need is somebody who could actually just make some shots.
Right, that's first and foremost. Well, first and foremost is really a guy to run the show, is a point guard. But second would be a shooter, a knockdown shooter. But they also, and we've gone over these numbers, not been finishing strong at the hole. Maybe this is a guy that takes it to the hole. I don't know. I can't tell you what is in his arsenal. I don't know if this guy is a really good shooter, but he's a 4-star guy and number 48 ranked overall in the class. Again, unless it stays in tradition with Memphis, they always miss with these numbers, right?
Yeah, I'm
saying it tongue in cheek, but it's like, yeah.
How many guys on the team right now were ranked higher than that coming out?
Right. That's what I mean. So hopefully he's one that can live up to advanced billing, but certainly will take a while to adjust. From the National Football League, we are 5 days away from the NFC and AFC championship games this Sunday. Tampa Bay will lead it off against Green Bay, where the Bucs are a 3.5-point underdog. And then the second game of the two, the AFC championship game, Buffalo with a 3-point dog traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. You have great quarterbacks all around. Josh Allen, maybe not in that great category yet, but he had a great season. Patrick Mahomes, the reigning NFL MVP, the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs. And then you have simply two of the greatest in Tom Brady and in Aaron Rodgers. So this is going to be quite interesting. The storylines in these two games on Sunday.
By the way, what did you say he was ranked?
48 was what I was told. One of the services, and I don't know which service.
And so Jeffries was ranked 45th. Boogie Ellis was 36th. This doesn't have what Moose's ranking was since he reclassified.
Had to be.
But those are the only two that were ranked higher than 48th. Landers Nolly was 72nd. Lester Quinones was 60th.
Yeah, Musa has to be higher than 48, right?
Yeah, I believe. I think he was. This what I'm looking at here doesn't have his ranking. Because again, he reclassified, so I don't know how that'll change it. But anyway.
But another top 50 player. Another top 50 player is the point you're making. Another guy who comes in with a lot of accolades. All right.
And hope he turns out better than the others have so far.
God can only hope, right? All right. So the championship games this weekend, I'm just talking about the storylines. You have Brady and Rodgers. You have Mahomes again and Kansas City trying to defend. You have the great story that is Buffalo, an organization that got to the Super Bowl 4 consecutive seasons in the 90s and weren't able to win. And it's been tough getting back when you play in the AFC East with the Patriots. And now they've taken advantage of an off year for the Patriots as they have put together some real talent in Buffalo. And Sean McDermott's done an unbelievable job coaching up that talent.
I don't think especially, nowadays when you look at what the Super Bowl loser, there's been like kind of the jinx for the Super Bowl loser, like the next year, I don't remember what it is, but basically for the next year, they normally don't make the playoffs.
Right.
I don't think we look back at what and appreciate exactly what the Bills did by making 4 straight Super Bowls.
Exactly.
I mean, that is an incredible. Granted, they didn't win any, and that's why we don't look back. But to go to the Super Bowl 4 straight years is an amazing accomplishment.
I was always one, and I'm on the outside looking in. I don't have a dog in the fight with the Bills. They weren't my team. But I looked at the accomplishments that you just mentioned of having gone to a Super Bowl 4 straight years, and I didn't look at it like, losers. They couldn't win one. Wide right, all that stuff. I didn't. I looked at the Bills and went, that is impressive. Marv Levy and those stars that they had on that team with Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed and Bruce Smith and on and on and on and on. I thought it was an unbelievable accomplishment to get Now, the Steelers went 4 out of 5, right? And won them all. They won all those Super Bowls. That dwarfs that one. But as far as
no, they didn't win 4 out of 5.
They didn't win 4 out of 5?
Because the Cowboys were the first to win 3 out of 4.
I thought Pittsburgh won like 77, 78, then not 79, then 80, 81. Can you look that up, Gabe? I thought the Steelers had won. Maybe it was 4 out of 6. They won 4 Super Bowls.
I know for a fact Cowboys were the first ever to win 3 out of 4.
Okay, so maybe it's 4 out of 6, but they won during Bradshaw's years every time they got to the Super Bowl. But still, the Bills not winning, I never looked at it as, you losers. I looked
the
at it.
Steelers were 4 out of 6. There were 2 years in between.
Okay, 4 out of 6. And that's winning them all. So that's way up there on the top. But the Bills certainly, nobody that accomplishes that should be embarrassed that they never finished the deal. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl and is still looked at as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and rightly so. But he's never going to be at the top. And the Buffalo Bills' run of 4 straight Super Bowls will never be looked at as the best accomplishment because of what I just said with the Steelers and the dynasty that was the Patriots and on and on and on.
What's crazy is that Buffalo streak came right out of the Broncos going to 3 out of 4. So in an 8-year stretch in the AFC, you had 2 teams that won 7 of the 8 conference championships.
Yeah.
Think how strange that is.
2 of the great quarterbacks in Elway and Kelly. Were they both in the same class? Were they in that great class? Or were they different years?
Yes. Them and Marino, wasn't that them and Marino? I think it was all that 83 class.
Yeah, I think so. That incredible class. So last night I kind of just laying there in bed trying to fall asleep, and I was thinking to myself, in no particular order, and I'll ask this to you guys, and we've talked about this before, the GOAT list and the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and there's been so many great quarterbacks. Like we said, Jim Kelly, 4 straight Super Bowls he's led his team to, but they never won.
And I just wonder how much different that would be viewed if Norwood makes the field goal and you have that would have been the first one. They would have won. That was the first one, right? I believe that was the first one.
I believe so.
If they had gone to 4 straight, but at least just one of them, how differently would we look back at what they actually accomplished? Because again, people don't even. It's weird. Like in a lot of ways, people do look at it as a negative that they
do.
But it's like, fine. I mean, nobody goes to 4 straight Super Bowls. That's so hard to go through the playoffs 4 straight years and just never stumble. Now they had the great comeback the one year. Like that's an unbelievable accomplishment.
Led by Frank Reich. I think a lot of people that look at it negatively would look at it certainly in a different vein, right? They would look at it more positive, that they won a Super Bowl but still lost 3. So I think they're in a whole different ball game there, because Bobby Cox, the way he's looked at as a great manager, he won the 1 World Series. So there are many detractors that said, should have won more. When you have that pitching staff that you had, you should have won more. But at least he won 1. So I think having the 1 win, people would view the Bills a little bit differently. So anyway, getting back to my point, we just saw what could be Drew Brees' final game. Tom Brady's moving on. He'll definitely be back next season. Aaron Rodgers playing incredibly well right now. Roethlisberger didn't end the season the way he wanted to, but certainly his career, pretty darn special. In no particular order, who are the top 10 quarterbacks of all time? Who can we all agree on, the 3 of us, that are absolutely on that list of 10? We go Brady, and I think we'd all say he's probably number 1. But again, I'm not asking for the order, right? We'd all agree Peyton Manning, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Joe
Montana.
We'd all agree Joe Montana.
Yes.
Would we all agree? Certainly Aaron Rodgers, right?
I would agree.
Okay. Eli, you good with that?
I think I would, after what he's done this year, I think I would put Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so we got Brady, we got Peyton Manning, we got Joe Montana, we got Aaron Rodgers.
John Elway. If you don't agree on John Elway, then you got
John
a problem.
Elway. Now, I absolutely believe Johnny Unitas is on that list. I played a lot when there was before the Super Bowls, but then played in the Super Bowl, even though he didn't play, actually. I think it was Earl Morrall. But I think Johnny Unitas is top 10 greatest quarterback of all time. But, Gabe, you probably don't even remember Johnny Unitas, so it's kind of tough. So it's tough on you. Now, so I guess Eli's the king on that one. I think it's sacrilegious if Johnny Unitas is not in the top 10. But then again,
I mean,
that's me.
It's before my time. It's weird trying to compare NFL eras is so difficult because the game has changed completely. Just going by what I've read or whatever, I would probably put Johnny Unitas on that list, but it's hard for me to compare comparing Johnny Unitas to Aaron Rodgers to me is impossible.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
They might as well not even be playing the same game.
Well, Johnny Unitas was throwing it down the field, and it was one of the rare quarterbacks to do so. But I understand where you're coming from. But if you look at lists, not that they're the end-all, be-all, Johnny Unitas is near the top of every single list. Now, he's dropping down a little bit now because of these other guys. So let's put Johnny U on that list. And I think John Elway absolutely on that list. So we got Brady, we got Peyton Manning, we got Joe Montana, we got Aaron Rodgers, we got John Elway, we got Johnny Unitas. We have 6 of the 10. Is Drew Brees on that list? He is, right? He's like number 1 in like just about every category. Drew Brees got to be a top 10 greatest quarterback. He won a Super Bowl.
If he's in, he cracks the top 10.
I think so.
Not that. I don't.
Well, it's going to be tough because there's a lot of great
and if you have
he's
some
one of those guys
historicals,
that's so hard to compare. I mean, again, he just played so in a different time. That's why he's got all the records. He played for so long at a different time and in a very pass-happy offense, even amongst the pass-happy offenses of today. Just pure numbers, I guess you have to put him on there.
I think Brees is on there. So now you got 7 of the 10 spots. Okay, where is
Dan Marino's got to be on there.
Yeah, I was just going to get to Dan Marino. So Dan Marino, without a Super Bowl win, we got Dan Marino on there. So now we have 8 of the 10 slots. 8, and these are 8 I thought about last night. Who fill the other 2? Is Roethlisberger a top 10?
No.
Okay. Is Steve Young?
Much better case than Roethlisberger.
Okay. Who is the best Cowboy, do you believe? Staubach or Aikman? Or you certainly don't put Romo there. Staubach or Aikman for all time? Or either one.
If I brought up the name Brett Favre, what would you say?
Brett Favre.
See, I mean, again, if you're on numbers, Brett Favre probably has to be in there.
But isn't he also up there in like picks and things like that?
Yeah.
But he's also won a Super Bowl. So you got we got 8 guys here: Brady, Peyton Manning, Montana, Aaron Rodgers, Elway, Johnny Unitas, Drew Brees, and Dan Marino.
I would put Staubach ahead of Aikman as far as Cowboys go.
Okay, so now you're looking at for the final 2 positions.
I mean, Terry Bradshaw won all the Super Bowls, but is Terry Bradshaw a top 10 guy?
Right, with all the stars around. He was a great quarterback. He doesn't get his just rewards because of everybody around him, but I don't know if he's a top 10. So you got Steve Young, Brett Favre, Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw, guys like Fran Tarkenton, certainly, that had an unbelievable career. Warren Moon had an unbelievable career, but he's a top 10 quarterback. So that's my dilemma right there. Who fills those other 2 spots? Now, there's listeners out there that probably some of the people that we have on our list they wouldn't have. But I think for the most part, if you were able to poll a lot of people, that they would have probably some semblance of that 8 right there. It's just after that, there's so many quarterbacks that would fit the bill. That's how tough it is. But I was just wondering where you thought Breeze was, where Roethlisberger is.
Roethlisberger, he's not even under consideration, in my opinion.
Even though have you seen his numbers? How many Super Bowls? 1 or 2?
He's got 2 Super Bowls.
2 Super Bowls. Numbers are pretty darn good.
It's just tough when you talk about those historical names. When you talk about like the Sammy Baws, the Otto Grahams.
Yeah, see, that's
the Bart Starrs.
Well, I mean,
it's just
if
tough.
you just talk on numbers, like all of the career passing leaders, basically the top 10. I mean, it's almost all this era. Like all of these quarterbacks playing today are going to end up like passing every one of those quarterbacks from yesteryear, pretty much.
That's why you can't put numbers in. And for anybody thinking Patrick Mahomes, he's not there yet.
Mahomes will be on that list.
He will
eventually.
be on that list more than likely, unless he has some debilitating injury. But
you think Russell Wilson has a chance to be on that list eventually?
I think Russell Wilson's going to be top 30 all-time quarterback, I think, in the end. But I don't think top 10. All right.
I mean, you look at like. I get Fran Tarkenton.
Yes,
has got to be on. I mean, Fran Tarkenton is still 13th all time at passing yardage, which is incredible considering when he played.
Plus, he was an incredible scrambler, so he probably had a lot of yards on the ground. And he was in how many Super Bowls? Tarkenton, Minnesota went to 4, I think, and they lost them all. And I think he was the quarterback for 3 of them. Might have been Joe Cap. Stats, if he's listening, he knows this, but
I mean,
it almost feels like you have to split up the eras and then rank.
Yeah, but we don't
I
do
know
that.
You can't.
We don't do that.
Because
20 years from now, people are going to be like, Jordan, man, he played in a whole different era. And so I know how tough it is.
I mean, Tarkenton, if you look at the top 20 quarterbacks in all-time passing yards, there are 2 guys that played in the 70s. Tarkenton and Dan Fouts. And Fouts was later than Tarkenton. I mean, Tarkenton's career ended in 78.
Yep.
Fouts went all the way, through 87. But I mean, that's the only 2 guys that even go back to the 70s in the top 20 all time.
Yeah, Tarkenton was a very special quarterback, and Fouts, I think, is underrated. We have to take one final break. We'll come back and wrap it up with one final thing. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 98.5 FM.
Let Dave Voloshin and Brett Nordsworthy take you home with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. 2021 is finally here. Might I suggest we start the wonderful new year with a makeover for your beautiful house. I'm Brian Elder. I'm a roofer. I fix roofs. Don't let them tell you that it has to be replaced when all it may need is some love. 867-0303. Let me love on your roof. I've made quite the reputation over the last decade as the guy to call after the insurance company denies the claim. Overturning a claim that has gone bad is an art form where you argue county code, manufacturer specs, and details of your policy that they have to abide by. So let me see it first. If I say it's a claim, it's a claim. 867-0303. Money is free at Brian Elder Roofing with 0% financing for half a decade. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you a quote right over the phone. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So, some text here on the first big text line quickly. Somebody did agree Staubach over Aikman for the Cowboys, with what I said. Somebody talking about Y.A. Tittle. Said, how do you slot somebody like that? He was way ahead of his time. He retired as the league leader in yards, touchdowns, and completions. Dominant in his era, but how do you compare? Somebody else brought up the name Bernie Kosar.
Bernie Kosar?
Somebody says, maybe they're joking, maybe they're being serious. And I mean, listen, he had a great career. But they say, if Manning, shouldn't it be Eli ahead of Peyton? The short answer to that is no.
That's an Ole Miss fan out there.
I mean, I don't believe there's anybody you could find in the NFL circles who would tell you that Eli was a better quarterback than Peyton.
Our friend John Varlas texts in. He says, so where's Jim Kelly on your list? Which goes back to how we started this thing, talking about the Bills.
Yeah, again, I mean, he's got to be consideration.
And, Gabe, you looked up Big Ben's numbers, and they're kind of eye-popping, right?
Yeah, I don't think we should discount Big Ben completely. I mean, he's certainly, when you look at winning Super Bowls and statistics, he's certainly top 15. I don't know if you'd find a serious argument from somebody saying he's outside of that, really.
Yeah, he's just been over.
I don't think he's a top 10 guy. I wouldn't consider him a top 10 guy.
He's just been overshadowed because he's played in the era of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers.
Franchise-wise, he has been absolutely blessed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No question. By the way, John Varlas also texted me that Musa was a top 10 recruit in his class before he reclassified. So he certainly would be. I don't know what it was when he reclassified, but certainly would be at least top 50. I would assume in the new class.
Absolutely.
Time for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
All right, I'm going to stay on this quarterback theme. So I went to the first list I saw, and it happens to be NFL.com. So it's a pretty good list, and they take a lot into consideration. They're going historical and everything. Here is their list. Number 1, Tom Brady. Got to roll through this. Number 2, Joe Montana. Number 3, Peyton Manning. Number 4, Johnny Unitas. Number 5, this is the one, going really old school. Otto Graham is number 5 for them. Number 6, Drew Brees. Number 7, Dan Marino. Number 8, Roger Staubach. Number 9, John Elway. And number 10, Aaron Rodgers. So it's basically our list, except they got Otto Graham in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how you compare Otto Graham. He wasn't playing quarterback, like basically as we know quarterback today.
Right.
That's just again, it's a completely different game. So Bet Online has their odds out to be the next Tennessee head coach. The favorite, according to Bet Online, is Billy Napier at 7-2. Jamie Chadwell 4-1. Bill Clark 9-2. Hugh Freeze 19-4. Luke Fickell 5-1. Doug Marrone at 11-2. Jim Caldwell 6-1. Kevin Steele, Tom Herman both 7-1. Lane Kiffin 8-1. Gus Malzahn 10-1. Peyton Manning 33-1.
Peyton Manning's not going to be the head coach. Jason Witten's not going to be the head coach, I'll tell you that much. Doug Marrone? Really? Doug Marrone?
One route they have not tried yet is the former NFL coach. Again, they've tried the head coach from the lower level. They've tried the assistant from the great program. Maybe the former NFL coach. Why is Jeff Fisher not on the list?
Yeah, why isn't Jeff Fisher? Because they want to go better than 6-6. But here's the thing.
6-6 would have been an improvement this year.
It would have. UAB coach Bill Clark, who I like a lot, I just don't see Tennessee hiring the UAB coach. But then again, we probably didn't think they would hire the Cincinnati coach.
They hired a Louisiana Tech coach who was below 500 at Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, I guess all bets are on the table here for the Tennessee Vols.
Once you've hired Derek Dooley, you can't be holding yourself to any standard above, a losing coach at the lower level. That's what Derek Dooley was.
Big thanks to Connor O'Gara and Dr. Adam Walker from the University of Memphis for joining us today. Tomorrow we'll continue the conversation about the Tennessee Vols and where they go from here. We'll be joined by one of the former Vol greats, Aaron Hayden. Also tomorrow on the program, Jerry Palm on college hoops and college football, and Brooks Hansen on the University of Memphis basketball team in the addition of Jordan Nesbitt. Stay tuned. Coming up next, it's Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. For Eli Savoy and Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody.